My name is Yinka Babalola.
My name is Ijoma Pelokoro.
My name is Joshua Hassan.
I am Rotarian or Mosunde Lawson.
It's Ife Rita Ejeze. My friends call me Ife.
My name is Rotarian Lola Dare.
I'm inviting you to keep watching SOUQ News. It's the right station to tune to.
I like SOUQ News. SOUQ News is good.
I want to charge you all to listen to SOUQ News, watch the news.
You can have unlimited news first time.
Find SOUQ News. Be with SOUQ News. Never switch off. You are better for it. SOUQ News is the real thing.
Listen to their coverage and you'll be glad you did.
Turn to your YouTube, turn to your Instagram, turn to all your digital channels and look for SOUQ News.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Please, guys, keep watching
SOUQ News.
Hello Lagos, make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your call. Listen, go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
They use fake alert, the warriors.
Okay, so wanna listen, If you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbefi. They don't walk that road where they warrior for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development where they work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Uyemike, aka Ogbefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM.
Nigerian leather industry has a storied history, particularly in the northern parts of the country where the art of leather farming and crafting has been perfected over centuries. Traditionally, leather was used primarily for functional items like sandals, bags, and saddles, with little emphasis on fashion. However, the narrative has changed drastically in recent years as Nigerian leather has evolved from a utilitarian product to a symbol of luxury and high fashion. Here is a special report by Bayo Olaoye. The turning point for Nigerian leather came as local designers began to recognize its potential beyond traditional uses. They started to experiment with new designs, creating products that appeal to the modern consumer while maintaining the heritage of craftsmanship. The result has been a wave of leather products that are not only functional, but also stylish and desirable on the global stage. One of the key factors driving the revolution is the exceptional quality of Nigerian leather. Known for its durability and unique texture, Nigerian leather, particularly from goats and cattle, has become highly sought after by fashion houses both within and outside Africa. This demand has encouraged local artisans to up their game, focusing on quality control and finishing techniques to meet international standards. Moreover, Nigerian leather products have benefited from the global trend towards sustainable and ethically produced goods. Consumers are increasingly turning away from massively produced items in favor of the handcrafted, sustainable alternatives. Nigerian leather made using traditional methods with minimal environmental impact fits perfectly into this narrative. This has opened up markets for Nigerian leather goods, particularly in Europe and North America, where there is a growing appreciation for products with a story and a conscience. The rise of Nigerian leather on the fashion scene is also closely tied to the country's booming creative industry. Fashion designers, many of whom had gained international recognition, are incorporating leather into their collections and innovative ways, from sleek handbags and bespoke shoes to stylish jackets and accessories. The Nigerian leather is becoming a staple in high fashion. This trend is not only boosting the profile of Nigerian fashion, but also creating new opportunities for economic growth. The leather industry, once dominated by small-scale craftsmen, is now attracting significant investment. Entrepreneurs are setting up modern tannery and workshops, creating jobs and fostering skills development in the process. This industrialization of leather products is helping to formalize what was once an informal sector, leading to better working conditions and high incomes for artisans. However, the success of Nigerian leather market did not emerge without challenges. The industry still faces issues. There is the need for more investment in technology and innovation to further enhance the quality of leather products and make them more competitive in the global market. Despite these challenges, the future of Nigerian leather products looks bright. There is a growing recognition of the value of locally produced leather goods, both within Nigeria and globally. This is evident in the increasing number of fashion shows and trade fairs dedicated to promoting Nigerian leather products, as well as the rising demand from international buyers. The evolution of Nigerian leather from a utilitarian material to a symbol of high fashion is a testament to the creativity and resilience of the Nigerian artisans. It reflects the broader trend in the global fashion industry towards sustainability and craftsmanship. As the world continues to embrace African fashion, Nigerian leather is poised to become a major player on the international stage, offering a unique blend of tradition, quality, and style. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an exciting new chapter for Nigerian leather.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to watch, always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Bogaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Welcome to Cashcraft, where opportunities meet insight. Today, we're journeying into the field of prosperity, where towering oil palms wave not just leaves, but the promise of wealth. From the humid groves of Edo to the rich red earth of Delta, a quiet boom is unfolding. Dough has been there for many years, but we could take advantage of this. This is one opportunity that holds the key to food security, foreign exchange savings, and thousands of jobs. Yes, we're talking about palm oil, Africa's red gold. But how do you tap into this opportunity? What does it take to build a business around palm oil, from plantation to profit? Let's break it down step by step. 1. Understand the landscape. The first step is knowledge. Nigeria's oil palm production has risen by over 41% in the past decades, from 8.2 million metric tons in 2014 to 11.6 million in 2023, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. Yet, with over 200 million mouths to feed and rising global demand, we are still importing palm oil to close the gap. That's your opportunity to become a local producer or processor. Step 2, choose your entry point. There are 3 main ways to enter into the palm oil value chain. Palm plantation farming. Cultivating your own palm trees is long-term but rewarding. Now you can look at processing. Buying palm fruits, popularly known as banga, I'm sure you know that. And converting it into oil with machines, that's another one. And trading, you can buy and sell finished oil in local or export markets. Each has different startup costs and time frames, so you must match your capital, patience, and passion. Before I go further, remember that this is not a professional guide, rather a wake-up call that there are opportunities everywhere. Now let's go to step 3. Get land or source supply. According to research, some initiatives like the Edo Oil Palm Development Program, EOPDP, and Delta State Delcom scheme are making access to land to become easier. Findings shows that in Edo State, over 114,000 hectares have been allocated to both big and small investors, and over 65,000 hectares have already been accessed. In Delta, 130,000 hectares have been provided by communities under a cooperative model, with over 3,000 smallholders farmers already on board. Even if you can't own land, you can start small by sourcing fruit from cooperatives or leasing a small processing space. Of course you can. Now let's move to 4. Know the cost and time frame. It costs between $7,000 to $8,000 to cultivate 1 hectare of palm from nursery to maturity. But it takes about 3 to 4 years for the trees to start yielding. If you want quick returns, processing and trading may be better. You can buy a small-scale palm oil milling machines for 1.5 million to 3 million naira, or even less if you join a cooperative or lease. So let's go to step 5. Invest in knowledge and market access. Join farmer cooperatives like those in Delcom. They give access to training, markets, and funding. You can also link up with established companies like Presco and Okomo Oil. Yeah? I'm not marketing, but it's a way to tell you that, look, there are opportunities everywhere. All of these are listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Step 6, think sustainability and value addition. Palm oil is not just for stew and soup. Yeah, think big. You can produce refined oil, cosmetics, biodiesel, and export-grade products. Investors are already joining this, and governments are backing it. You can do your research. There is also growing interest in eco-friendly farming and traceable supply chains. If you do it right, foreign buyers will come looking. Palm oil may have its controversies, but in Africa, especially in Nigeria, it is heritage, it is economy, it is future. The rise of Edo and Delta as palm oil giants is not just about hectares or harvest. It is about people creating jobs, reducing imports, and saving foreign exchange. If you are looking for a business with cheap roots and wide branches, palm oil may just be your calling. This has been Cashcraft, your guide to turning ideas into income. I am Grace Komalafe. Join us again next time, and remember, the ground beneath your feet might be your next big break. See you again.
Well, I think as the name goes, we're still faring very well. We're still holding on. Basically, Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited is a Nigerian company owned by the federal government of Nigeria, the 36 states, and the 774 local governments. The federal government has 47% shares in NDPHC, and the 36 states and federal capital territory, plus the 774 local governments, own the remaining 53%. Originally, it was supposed to be a stopgap, build and sell power plants to increase the power availability. But in the process, as the company moved along, they discovered that if you build power plants, you also have to build complementary transmission networks. And then if you have transmission networks, you will also need the distribution network so that the power can ultimately get to the consumers. And so because of the gap that was in the sector at the time, Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited was asked to build more power transmission networks, substations, injection substations. So over time, we had grown into the behemoth that we are today. Principally, we have 8 power plants functioning now, and then 2 are in the process of being completed. So that's what Niger Delta has been. But basically, I can say without any iota of contradiction that Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited has been able to increase the capacity, the network capacity, by about 50%, and of course the distribution capacity by about 60%. We are capable of producing up to 4,000 megawatts now, but there are still some constraints in the transmission network, which is being addressed by the various arms of government and the various stakeholders in the sector. If I want to talk about the problems in the power sector, you need more than an hour program. They are multifaceted. And each time solutions are being found, they are not far-reaching enough. For instance, before the enactment of the Electric Power Sector Reform Act, it was thought that the problem was we didn't have enough generation power. And that's what gave rise to the NIPP, which is the National Integrated Power Project, which was basically to increase the power availability in Nigeria. And there were gaps because at that time, I don't think the solution was holistic enough. I'm talking of during the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo. You remember the National Integrated Power Project was conceived at the time. And it's strange that for the past many years, we are talking about 4,000 megawatts, 4,000. In reality, the available power in Nigeria is about 16,000 megawatts now, between 13,000 and 16,000 megawatts. So you wonder, why are we producing or generating or putting on the grid about 4,800 megawatts? So there's a gap. And the gap is basically the fact that the present network is aged. It's inadequate. There is fragmentation in the sector. You have, as of today, about 26 different bodies in the power sector. And it's a typical Nigerian problem. Once Nigeria identifies a problem, they create another agency to deal with that problem, rather than looking at the problem in the eye and say, oh, this is the problem. And I can give you so many examples. For instance, traffic, which is very basic to everybody. When after the Udoji Award in the early 70s, I think it was in the early 70s, and people had phone to purchase cars, traffic began to grow. Now, instead of taking a holistic attitude and train the police to do what they're supposed to do, expand the road networks, and begin to put a culture of driving properly in the country. We created the yellow fever, the traffic wardens at the time. You remember at the time, traffic warden was separated from the Nigerian police. That's right. And the problem was not solved because the people were still constrained to virtually the same network of roads, more cars on the same network of roads. And then we stopped training drivers. So Federal Road Safety Commission was formed. And of course, I'm sure that you all know that the problem became worse. And now all of the state governments are creating their own variants of the Federal Road Safety Code. An example is LASMA in Lagos. And the people are still on the same roads. You know, so whereas we had 200 cars on a stretch of road, now we have 1,000. Now we have drivers who cannot read traffic signs, which are not even there. So today, when people see traffic lights, either in Abuja or in Lagos, I mean, they don't even know what to do. I'm sure that, I can't remember the last time we trained drivers in Nigeria. I cannot remember the last time we trained drivers in Nigeria. You know, it's the same thing with the issue of corruption. When we detected, corruption was increasing, we started creating so many variants of, and I always ask the question, where is the equivalence of EFCC in the countries that we're trying to be like? So we have created EFCC, we have created ICPC, we have created Bureau for, what's that other agency? Sorry? No. Those are another problem entirely. The BP and the BPP, you know. I mean, I'm talking of Code of Conduct Bureau. But in all honesty, can we say that corruption has reduced in Nigeria? Can we say that? So the problem is that we don't look at problems in the face and deal with the issue rather than creating bodies and bodies and bodies and bodies. We don't have the variants of EFCC, ICPC, and Code of Conduct Bureau in the countries that we're trying to be like. In this age and times, honestly, you don't need, it's not rocket science. There is hardly anything you want to do that has not been done before or that is not being done in some other places. I mean, so you see in various sectors that once we identify a problem, rather than look the problem in the eye and providing solution to it, we create another body. It will appear to me that it is finding job for the boys, you know, and that is one of the reasons why we are where we are today. I cannot remember the last time anybody had to do driving tests to obtain a driver's license. I can't remember. In the US, if you want to obtain a driver's license, it's a long process. And I remember my daughter, when she went to the US at the age of 18, I remember when she wanted to go and obtain a driver's license, she called me and said, "Daddy, please pray for me." And I think the first time she went there, she didn't make it. And it was one slight error. And eventually, she had to go back, to retake the test. So that's what I see that we're doing wrong. And that has virtually destroyed all the sectors. The power sector is faced with so many problems. I was trying to explain to you, for instance, that the discos have various coverage areas. And if you take them one by one, you will see that some of them are covering a landmass that is bigger than 2, 3, 4 African countries together. You know, somebody was on my secondary school classmates forum. Somebody was trying to do a comparison between Botswana and Nigeria. And I said, Botswana has 581,000 kilometers, square kilometers. But 70% of that is Kalahari Desert. So effectively, what they have is less than 100 and something thousand kilometers. Nigeria has a vast land. Botswana has a population of 2.5 or 2 point something million. You can't compare that to, there's no basis. There's no basis. And so if they have 1,000 naira, their GDP is likely to be higher than that of Nigeria. You know, Nigeria has 210 million people. Yes, officially. You know, you can see the population of Lagos. I'm sure that the population of Botswana is not as thick as Surulere alone. I'm not trying to give excuses for what we are in Nigeria or how we're doing things badly. But I'm saying that we have a giant problem. We have giant problems in all of the areas. And we need to put our heads together to provide solutions to these problems. You know, you can say that Nigeria is a country in progress. I know that we have enough human resources. We have enough intellectuals to find solutions to our problems. And I'm beginning to see that the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is tackling the problems headlong. I don't want to say that they work in silos. I mean, it would not be absolutely correct. I don't want to say that. That would be too negative. I would like to say that there's need for better collaboration between all of them. And then one of the greatest things that we need to do is that there must be a coordinating agency that is not encumbered with or by bureaucratic procedures. Okay, NEC is supposed to be the regulator in the society. Now, like I said before, if you have a regulator, they must be trained. And we shouldn't be ashamed to train our regulators and to ensure that we have the right people in those positions. But like I said, almost all the agencies in Nigeria, you find a lawyer heading an engineering company. You know, I mean, it's not done. And what happens is that, I don't want to create a war between professions, but the truth of the matter is that if you are a lawyer and you have, you're doing legal consultancy in the sector, that doesn't make you to be chief executive of a purely engineering company. You know, the last time it was an accountant that was in charge of one of the parastatals in the sector, and you know, even now that there's a new government, you see all kinds of people trying to outdo each other here and there. TCN, for instance, is supposed to be in charge of the transmission networks. Okay. But you have the independent ISO under them. How is that going to work? I mean, that is supposed to be an independent, and it cannot be under TCN. You know, the discos, for instance, who is supervising them? NERC is supposed to supervise them, but you have on the board BPE, you know, that has 40% of the shares, And they're supposed to monitor them. Are they doing that? And then now the Yoruba people say, Amukun eru ewo, oni ewo saleni. That is, if a man is crippled or has bent knees and is carrying a load, it's not likely that the load will be straight because the legs are bent anyway. So that is the problem that we have. You know, the root cause, we're not attacking the root cause. You know, the electricity power sector reform has a transition program. But unfortunately, because we didn't do the privatization properly, we gave it to people who have no financial resources. They borrowed money from the banks to purchase the concession anyway. You know, because they borrowed money from the bank, they don't have enough funds to repair the aging facility that they inherited. So that is a problem. Now the bank is on them. The bank lent them money for 5 years, or you know, whereas this is a sector that is, you need long-term fund. You know, you need to have enough money to lay new cables, replace transformers. Some of these transformers have been there since 1960-something, to replace them. Look, where I come from in Ondo South Central District, we have not had power for up to 15 years now from the national grid. Everybody is an electricity generator company on his own. When we stepped into it to see what was happening, we discovered that the distribution company did not have enough money to repair the damaged distribution networks. So NDPC stepped into it, and we've spent almost 3 billion to repair all of that. Almost 3 billion. I mean, we're talking about 6 local governments. At a point, by the time we had finished the reticulation of the networks in 5 of the local governments, we discovered that there is the source of supply is from Ondo. Ondo has a 2 by 30 MVA substation. One of that substation is gone. So it means that the distance of almost 100 kilometers from Ondo to Ore and to Ilaje, to Igbokoda area, to Mahin and Co. Just one single 33 kV line is coming from that. So by the time the light gets to Okitipupa, what you have is candle light. It's the same thing we saw in Lafia, for instance. For years, Lafia, even the government house in Lafia, was being operated on generator because the single line feeding Lafia and the entire Nasarawa state is from Abuja. So that's why we stepped in and built the 330, 132, 33 kV substation, which was commissioned early last year by President Muhammadu Buhari. And you can see the joy in the faces of the people. Now, in Ondo South Central District, for instance, they are building the NDDC, not NDPHC, is building a 132 kV substation in Odeonije, which should help to bring power from Omotosho and to that area. But they have been on it for years now. And without the completion of that, there's nothing that can happen in the place. They will still have candlelight. So these are the problems. Now, NDDC is independent of NEC. It's virtually independent of the DISCO. It's independent of but they are doing a good work because they have offered to do, they have identified the problem and they have offered to do it. But who is coordinating these activities to ensure that everybody is working? And you know, one of the things I always complain about is that since this past 6-10 years, for instance, TCN has many of its projects are 85-90% completed. Some of the problems are just way live. That the government should collaborate with the state governments to resolve. But what do you have? A substation is ready in Akure, for instance. A 330 kV substation is ready in Akure. The transmission line is supposed to come from Oshogbo to Akure, and another transmission line is supposed to come from Benin and drop in Akure. Because of way live issue along the route from Oshogbo to Akure, that project has been stalled for almost 6 years. So there has to be an organization that is above neck, that is linked only to the president, that will look at all of these things. I talked about the fragmentation in the sector. You know, look, and let me tell you something. I know that electricity is a commercial venture. And when you put your money there, you should be able to recover your investment. However, it's also a social contract between the government and the people. It's a social contract. You know, so if you have such a transmission line, everybody should be involved. And I remember that it has to be a responsibility. I remember when we were doing a project in Owerri. And because the transformers have been there for a long time, we needed to remove the transformers to a workshop somewhere in Ikorodu there for repairs, so that when they take them back, it can function properly. And we had given authority to the EPC contractor to go and remove the transformer. But of course, when the community saw that they were removing their transformer, this was a transformer that has not been functioning for the past 10, 15 years. They refused to let them go, and the governor had to intervene. The governor also refused to let them take the transformer away. I had to personally intervene with the governor, speak with the governor, write an undertaking before the transformer can be moved to the workshop for repairs. It's not repairs, really, but you know, they need to change the oil and, you know, make sure it's in good working condition, because it's been on the plinth for 15 years. So there has to be a coordinating agency that is devoid of bureaucratic encumbers. You know, initially, NDPC was created from the Federation account. The initial seed money for NDPC was from the Federation account. However, since we started producing electricity, let me put it that way, we don't receive subvention from the government. So our revenue is from the sale of electricity, sale of energy to the network and to what we call willing buyers. For instance, you will see that we still, even outside the country, we sell power to countries outside Nigeria. Yeah. So that's how we derive our, but because also we are owned by the 3 tiers of government, we have also embarked on working with the other sectors to improve the networks. For instance, we build distribution. So from the profit that we have, we build distribution networks virtually in all. There is no state in Nigeria that has not felt the impact of NDPC. And then we, like I said, the transmission substation in Lafia was constructed by NDPC. It's like LNG. I mean, LNG cannot receive subvention from the federal government anymore. You know, I mean, of course, initially, government put in their own investment and the private sector put in their own investment. I'm hoping that we will move away from this structure in NDPAC. I'm really hoping that we'll and adopt the NLLG structure, for instance, and bring in a huge investor to acquire 49% so that we can start operating like an LNNG. You know, there's a lot of confusion in the society, you know, and even those even some high government officials don't even know the functions of NDPAC. They don't even know. I mean, we were in a gathering some time ago, and a former minister who claimed to have been a part of the conception of NDPAC was annoyed when somebody threw a question at him, and he said, "What are you talking about? I don't have power in my house, and you guys are sitting down there." And I had to lecture him and say, "Hey, I'm not supposed to put power in your house. I'm just a businessman, you know, in the sector, producing oil, producing power, electricity, like every other person, like, what's the name of Elumelu's Transcorp Power, and selling it. That's all we are." The problems are enormous. But I believe very strongly that the discourse as they are now don't have the capacity. There has to be a restructuring of that sector. Under whatever you want to call it, maybe breaking their franchise into little bits. One or two of them are doing well. Eco, Disco, Ikeja Disco, yeah. Because, and also, you know, the problems are different. So, but for most of them, look, let me give you an example. If you need to, under Yola Distribution Company, I mean, you know how wide that sector, I mean, that part of the country is. If you need to take a 33 kV line from one town to the other, you may be doing 100 kilometers. Whereas under the Eco Disco franchise, I mean, 100 kilometers will do 2, 3, 4, 5 communities. So we need to restructure this discourse. We need to support the discourse to develop a new program tailored to reduce ATC and C losses. What is ATC and C? Aggregate technical, commercial, and collecting losses. Now, when you take power from Ondo, for instance, to Ilaje, 100 kilometers, by the time, and don't forget that along that route, you are dropping power for Ore, for Ajebandele, for this, for that. By the time you get to the end, what you have is candlelight. So you will need to, and the discos don't have the finances to do these things. I said earlier that the privatization was not properly done. I'm not sure that those people have an understanding of what they were getting into. Everybody thought the power sector was like the telecommunications sector. But it is not. The amount of infrastructure that you need to put in place, physical infrastructure that you need to put in place for power is totally different from that. Because apart from your cell in telecommunication and the handset there's nothing that you need to do. You probably don't need to put poles, pay compensation. Fiber optic is for specific areas. I mean, for specific things, and it doesn't stop the telecommunication facilities. Yes, exactly, from functioning very well. So that the difference is, but you cannot send power remotely You need cables, you need poles, you need transmission lines, you need all sorts of things. You need transformers. The discos should be responsible for them. But when they don't have the fund, what do? You can see that many of them, about 7 of them, are under receivership now. Some sort of receivership or the other. You can see. Because they borrowed money from the banks and they were not able to pay back within the time they thought, I mean, they were going to be able to pay back. You have to deal with each one of them, you know, on it has to be a tailored solution to each disco. You cannot apply the same brush for all of them. Well, the truth of the matter is that at some point there will be increase in tariff. However, this is not the time for it. I mean, Nigeria, I mean, we are doing a lot of reforms now. The removal of the subsidy has increased the cost of living in Nigeria. The exchange rate, harmonization of the exchange rates is also going to affect the economy and the earning power of the common Nigerian, even though that should not be the case, because I can tell you for free that no business organization was charging their customers based on the 400 and something naira to the dollar that the CBN was. And that's a fraud on its own, because CBN knows that there's nobody who is selling anything in Nigeria decides the cost of that good based on the CBN exchange rate. It's simple, because they are not sure that they will get, I mean, when they need to replace machinery, raw materials, they were not sure that they could get the dollars from CBN. So this is the best thing that could have happened.
The Naira float.
The Naira float is the best thing that can happen to our nation, Nigeria. And I'm surprised, because every expert and non-expert had been advising CBN to do this for so long. So I'm surprised that the CBN was reluctant to do what is needful, and that's about the corruption in the system. So this is not the time, and I'm advising government too, this is not the time to increase tariff. Honestly, subsidizing the power sector is not good for the economy, because the truth of the matter is that 80% of the subsidy in the power sector is being enjoyed by people who can afford to pay for electricity. That's the truth. The low tariff pays only the rich. You know, the poor people just take advantage, just like in fuel too. Look, if you have 10 cars and you put all the 10 cars on the road, the poor man has only one way to go, just to go to office and come back, and you know. But the man who has 10 cars will want, the wife will take one, the children will take one, the workers will take one, and that's what is happening in the sector. So yes, this is not the time to think about increasing tariff. It will look, in the past, the cost of diesel was very high, right? Now, a lot of people migrated to using petrol generators. Now the cost of petrol is even almost higher than the cost of, because petrol burns faster, you use more petrol for your generator than diesel. So, generating power in your house now, where you don't have power supply from the national grid, is a big problem. No, there is no doubt in my mind that we need to migrate to prepaid meter. I mean, not only intelligent meters, so that when we have intelligent meters, nobody can manipulate their consumption. You know, if you go to some hotels in the past, all of the heavy-duty consuming equipment, their laundry, their air conditioners are connected directly, or they bypass the meters, you know. But if you have intelligent networks, that cannot happen because it will be discovered and then you will be dealt with appropriately. So there's no doubt in my mind that everybody, and it's in the interest of the consumer too, to acquire prepaid meters. And it's not the only prepaid meters that the discos should supply. It should be intelligent networks. Of course, I said earlier that they don't have the money to do it. They don't have the funds. Look, if you had an intelligent network in a place like this, for instance, you can determine what is happening without you being there. Even on your phone, you can control your distance. So I'm just trying to use that to explain what it is. So if you have an intelligent network, the discos in their control rooms will be able to monitor and ensure that energy theft is reduced to the barest minimum, and they can ensure proper operations in their own sector.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepard Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoin you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Boggables, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News, keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Hello, Lagos. Make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your code. Listen, go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
Then they use fake alert, the warriors.
Okay, so Mona, listen, if you dey do POS business, not expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbuefi. They don't walk that bar road where they worry for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what? Development with the work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Oyemike, aka Ogbuefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM.
I'm from Akwa Ibom State, Eke local government precisely. My primary school at Akwa Ibom Church Primary School, so young Eket, where I grew up in the early 70s. I moved into government secondary school at Eket. I finished my school set in 1981. It was a jolly good experience. Before I moved over to Lagos, where I did my higher school, Federal School for Art and Science, Victoria Island, and from where I took my JAM, then I got admission to study English and literary studies in the great University of Calabar. Growing up was fun, education was fun. We enjoyed the bits for life, all we went through there, from primary to secondary school, the dormitory lives, my friends, my colleagues. Coming over to Lagos was quite an experience. My first time in Lagos, arriving after a tortuous journey back then. Went over to VI, studied along with some blue chip children, Federal School for Art and Science then, as it was called, just where you have the law school now. It was quite an experience. And back to University of Calabar, we had quite a drill, the studies of English language and literature. I happen to have specialized in literature, where we did a thorough work on all the spheres of literature, the landscape of literature. We almost exhausted it with key professors and lecturers. Talking about Afro-American literature, Caribbean literature, South African literature, Russian literature, literature of social protest. Then we come back to African literature, where we explored the whole landscape. African literature, African drama, African prose, and storytelling, folk tales, and trickster stories. It was a huge experience that changed my life. And coming over here, finished our youth service, did my youth service in Imo State then. We had respect as corpers. We were well treated. And came over back to Lagos, looking for work in Lagos, 1988, 89. We started a magazine in Lagos here. We call it the Hits magazine. It was tailored after the Right On magazine. It was a music magazine. We started that stuff in Lagos here, and then we couldn't sustain it because of the finances. Luckily for me, I was able to run, got a job with the bank, and then I started a marketing aspect for the bank. From the bank, the merchant bank, when the bank went under, I decided to go solo. That brought me to the book industry. I have always have this passion for books, right from my primary school to my secondary school. My mom was a teacher, a successful teacher. We were encouraged to read books. We used to hide ourselves in the libraries, my local government libraries. So when I got admitted to the University of Calabar, all our long vacations, we were always found in the library. Of course, there was no GSM then. The library was our contact space, where we go to the libraries to get information about when the school is going to resume, because apart from news, radio, and all that, you may not know when the school is going to resume. But when you meet with your friends, you know, in the library there, we meet with some other undergraduates, Uniben, SOUQ, Ife, some of our friends who were studying there, who came home for long vacations. I mean, we interact with them, and before you know it, we hear, you people are going to resume this, that, and that's how my passion for books get strengthened. When we resume schools, we exchange novels. We look for novels to read. We look for African writers series. We look for Headley Chase. We look for exotic books. We started collecting books. When we finished reading, we shared the books to our friends. We talked about the books, and from there, we were able to explore the world. We sat down in the library and we knew what was happening in the apartheid South Africa. I did so much about the history of South Africa. I read about the Zulu aftermath. I read about the Mau Mau Wars, the challenge of colonialism, the pro-colonial times. I had a good teacher who taught me history in the secondary school, Miss Tooten. He did a yeoman's job. He led us through the whole spectrum of West African history. West African history by Adekunle Aromolaran. We talked about the Oyo Empire, Songhai Empire, Timbuktu, the Great Mali Empire. You know, all these things stir up our curiosities. And since then, we never departed from books. We have worked in close association with the Institute of Public Analysts of Nigeria, IPAN. These are people that do analysis for products, water analysis, analysis of waste and effluent, radioactive activity, food and drug analysis. We have worked with quality control experts across the industries. We have worked with establishments where they do root crop research. We have worked with the pharmaceutical research industries, medical research bodies, malaria research establishments, cancer research establishment. These people look for us for specialized information in the management of special disease and treatment. Treatment in oncology. People in the area of traditional medicine, alternative medicine, natural medicine. They look for it. We are partnering with the Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology, Institute of Natural Medicine in Victoria Island, to work with them in the area of the development of herbal medicines in Nigeria. We have books we partner with them to promote. You see, medicinal plants from eastern Nigeria, medicinal plants from the northeast, medicinal plants from the southwest, medicinal plants from the south-south. We market these books for people who want to know. No, we are working now on the production in partnership with relevant institute of the Nigerian pharmacopoeia. We know about the British pharmacopoeia. We know about the American pharmacopoeia, the Japanese pharmacopoeia, and herbology. We are working towards having the Nigerian pharmacopoeia. This is going to be a compendium of materials that talks about medicinal plants of value, medicinal plants that have healing properties. We are working with specialists, pharmacognosy, phytochemists, and by God's grace, this is going to come into fruition. We partner with the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria and all kinds of health bodies that we can't even mention. So many of them invite us for their annual conferences, which is rotated across different states in different years across the nation. So we've traveled, and in most of these conferences, you have experts, deans of faculties, heads of departments that reach out to us with informations in books and journals that are relevant for their students and for their practitioners. We don't only market reference books and textbooks in all fields of study, all fields of human endeavor. We also market relevant journals, research journals, peer-reviewed journals in sociology, in psychology, in law, research journals in oncology, in public health, community medicine, in nursing, research journals in nutrition and dietetics, food science, international relations. We partner with the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Victoria Island. We have key journals in world affairs, African affairs, and these journals will help them to distribute to all relevant establishments and departments that need it. So it has been a great job, very taxing and exciting. Each book added a new spectrum of learning and knowledge for us. When we got into literature and poetry, we explored a whole lot. When we went into American history, the black history, we read about the nation of Islam. We read about Elijah Muhammad. We knew the struggle they had to go through, racism and all that stuff. And it really inspired us to see what we can do to add value to knowledge. And it has brought us this far. So it's been passion, not really born out of the money or whatever. Of course, when you have value to present, you'll be appreciated in many ways. We have had sundry appreciations from establishments, from institutes across West Africa and beyond. You know, we partner with international publishers all over the world to source cutting-edge materials for our clients. We take pains to go through a lot of materials that come in here. Whether there are new materials or whether there are new, we believe that when you are doing research, it is what is called cross-cultural research. You start from the past and then come to the present. Research in any field, what happened before, where we were before, and where we are now, and then we look forward. So we have a lot of materials for our clients, and we are on an endless journey of search. When we started this business, we came face to face with HIV. We go after books on HIV and AIDS. We got them across our clients and our readers. As we went further, Ebola came, and we sourced for materials for medical virologists. It's a virus. Clinical virology, we gave the books to them, and they were very happy. We got the materials. We did what is called public health awareness to get people assured that these things are preventable. That is not the end of life. You see, when you have the information, you have the confidence to practice, you are not scared of whatever. Whatever is coming in probably had happened before. All we need is for new information to combat the emerging diseases. There are journals that deal with emerging infectious diseases. We provide these materials for practitioners, and it has served the purpose over the years. The secret of my success has been the impartation of specialist knowledge, tertiary knowledge for professionals. You know, education and learning is a lifelong journey. People talk about continuous professional development. For instance, in the media world and the real estate world, we have partnered with people who are doing media studies. You know, the print media, the electronic media, mass communication as a whole. We have provided a lot of materials for them. So now we have specialists in the media. We have special editors, screenwriters, short story writers, photojournalists, you know, and we provide them these materials. In the real estate world, we have attended conferences of real estate practitioners, providing cutting-edge materials for them in real estate development, information technology, property development, property law. All these materials assist them in the practice of real estate. We have gone far more. We work with people, the QS, quantity surveyors, town planners, environmental managers, people who do environmental audits, environmental impact assessment, you know, space planning. We work with them, you know. And these materials we get from all across the world. If you are practicing in this area and you need materials, to improve your services and the value you are creating, you will need us. We have a whole list of experts in different fields that reach us when they have challenges, when they have need for special information to solve specific problems. They reach out to us. They call, yeah, a bookman, all range. We need books in this area. For instance, we had a former Minister of Health, that great woman, Gonja Iwala. She will always call us, look, all range, we need books on international economics. And we used to give her books on international economics. And many other experts like that. We have books for people who are doing radioactive interventions, people who are doing environmental management, people who are doing analysis, food analysts, all over the spectrum. We provide books for them. Food engineering, we give them books on food contaminants, food additives. These are not books to just go to anywhere and get. We have been able to interface with them, Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. Reading has a tremendous impact on influence on human life. It helps you to appreciate issues, ideas, views, and opinion. It makes you an active participant in intellectual discourse and in intellectual environment. You are not ignorant of what is happening around you. It makes you a leader. Yes, not all readers are leaders, but most impactful leaders are readers. Books will change you. Books will empower you. Books will give you self-confidence. When I sit down with architects and I'm discussing, I talked about landscape architecture. I talked about interior design. They begin to wonder whether I studied architecture. Then I started talking with oncologists, gynecologists, maybe gynecological oncologists. They think that maybe I studied medicine. I didn't do no medicine. I've been able to read some books, interface with them. I have attended their workshops, so many, and I've read their books. Some books that come to me, I try to go through the introduction and the preface. I try to. Books in all areas. You understand? I was looking at a book on anesthesiology, and I found out that no serious surgery could be carried out without an anesthetist. Surgical intervention, is it abdominal surgery? Is it cancer, oncology? You need a professional. These are people that manage the airways. When the patient has been numbed with drugs for the intervention, the surgical experience, maybe for 3, 4, 5 hours, there has to be a resuscitation. And this is the specialist area for anesthetists. Not all doctors can handle that. You are doing cesarean section. You are doing ENT surgery. You need them. So you have a team of doctors that will invariably handle a serious, for instance, at the orthopedic hospital, we want to do amputation. You have the plaster people, you have the hematologist, you have the anesthesiologist, you have the surgeon, who is a very good orthopedic surgeon to handle amputation. Whether it's amputation of the legs and all that, because they have to manage, the hematologist will manage the loss of blood. Then the anesthetist, then the orthopedic nurse will be there. Then we have the theater nurse will be there. All of them well kitted for the operations. It will look as if they are going to travel to Mars. Safety procedures, management of spills, cleaning, and everything. Then rolling the patients to a special, maybe it's an amenity ward where they are going to keep the person to manage the post-operative procedures and all that. Of course, there are pre-surgical experiences, the tests, the examinations, the review and all that before the real process. So these are not things we learned overnight. It has taken a process of time. And we got to know that, oh, this is how the deal is done. Great insurgents of e-materials, e-books, digital books, and of course, the World Wide Web. It has helped us to access materials easily. But you see, initially people were afraid that with the advent of the e-books and all that, that the textbooks, the physical books, will be phased out. But that is far from the truth. Libraries still get their core text and materials. They have the sections for the core text and materials and journals and serials. Then they have the section we call the digital libraries. Polytechnics libraries, university libraries across the countries, they have these sections. But my experience with these digital libraries has been the management of digital libraries, the power situation in Nigeria, and the maintenance culture. Most of the institutions that started with the e-library, they have always come back to complain that these materials, within a short spell of time, because of instability of power. You know, the computers and all the digital infrastructures, they need steady and standby power supplies. Most of them have acquired the solar systems to power these equipments, but truly speaking, it has not been sustainable. Sometimes we had some dubious students vandalize these facilities, and then people always have to fall back on books. With the smartphones now, students can get a lot of materials and all that, and they read, but I can tell you that people who are doing serious research, they come back to us for books. You are doing research, you have to do your references, your bibliography, you have to show evidence, materials you have read, both online and offline. You are doing your doctorate program, master's program, to whatever level. At the level we are now, we believe that we've added value to education, to training, and to teaching. Our next phase now, we're trying to see how we can give back to the society through our interface with like-minded NGOs. We are started our book cafe, all-range book cafe, where we invite people. It's a private library to come and read and study in a relaxed atmosphere, where you can come in and do your book reviews. If you're a writer, you come in and do your book reviews, review your textbooks. Going forward too, we also have our NGO, which we are working on, that borders on environmental management. We call it the Campaign for Sustainable Environment. This is a program we have been running the last 5 years. We are talking about global warming and climate change. We do environmental education.
Across the lush southern corridors of Nigeria, a quiet revolution is taking root, rooted in the oil palm plantations of Edo and Delta states. Once the pride of West Africa and a global supplier of palm oil in the pre-independence era, Nigeria is returning to its agricultural strength. The rise in demand for palm oil, both domestically and globally, is fueling a new boom, one that is redefining investment flows, empowering communities, and reawakening an indigenous industry long overshadowed by crude oil. Investors have earmarked over $855 million for oil palm cultivation in Edo State alone. Under the Edo Oil Palm Development Program, 114,000 hectares of land have been allocated, with 65,000 already accessed and 18,000 hectares cultivated. Companies like Okomu Oil and Presco, both listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, are not just expanding, they are thriving, despite economic headwinds. In Delta State, the story is equally robust. Through the Delcom cooperative model, 130,000 hectares have been released by local communities, engaging 145 companies and over 3,000 smallholder farmers. This homegrown initiative is not just restoring livelihoods, it is building wealth from the roots up. This resurgence reflects the deeper uniqueness of Africa, our ability to blend tradition with innovation and to transform natural abundance into economic might. As Nigeria reduces palm oil imports, saves foreign exchange, and creates thousands of jobs, the continent watches. The palm oil boom is not just an agricultural story, it is an African story. One of resilience, self-reliance, and a return to prosperity built on the soil of our ancestors. I'm Moyosore Adebi for SOUQ News TV.
My name is Yinka Babalola.
My name is Ijoma Pelokoro.
My name is Joshua Hassan.
I am Rotarian Omosunde Lawson.
It's Ife Yunwarita Ejeze. My friends call me Ife.
My name is Rotarian Dare.
I'm inviting you to keep watching SOUQ News. It's the right station to tune to.
I like SOUQ News. SOUQ News is good.
I want to charge you all to listen to SOUQ News, watch the news.
You can have unlimited news, first time.
Find SOUQ News. Be with SOUQ News. Never switch off. You are better for it. SOUQ News is the real thing.
Listen to their coverage and you'll be glad you did.
Turn to your YouTube, turn to your Instagram, turn to all your digital channels and look for SOUQ News.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Please, guys, keep watching
SOUQ News.
Known as the father of African literature, Chinua Achebe was born on the 16th of November 1930 in Ogidi, now Anambra State, eastern Nigeria. He was born to Isaiah Okafor Achebe, a teacher and an evangelist, and Janet Anenichi Ilegbunam, a vegetable farmer. Achebe has reshaped the global understanding of African identity through the power of storytelling. Raised during the twilight of colonial rule, Achebe's education was steeped in both Igbo tradition and the Western values of post-colonial Christianity. As a student,
take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here, that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape. Hello, good morning, and welcome to your regular breakfast show. This is SBL. Put a hashtag in front of it, and it's SOUQ business landscape. It's always a pleasure having you here. Today, we will start on a very beautiful note. Yesterday, we were talking about the points coming from the stock exchange, and hey, let's announce to you that we've gone above 200,000. That should warrant a round of applause, and also cautious optimism, because we never can tell. A lot of prediction is coming out, but we'll get to that particular story, so you need to be here. Also, the African Development Bank is dashing us, because it's a grant. They're giving us a little about $5 million to work on our tax systems. So those stories will also tell you food inflation is not easing. As of the data coming in this February that just ended, it's not smiling. It's not smiling. We'll get to talk about that on today. Then also, if you see what's happening geographically worldwide, national accounts, that for Nigeria is smiling, but personal accounts are bleeding. We're going to talk about that on the show today. My name is SOUQ John Rogers SOUQ, and Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I always have this smile on my face when she's seated on my right. I have the pleasure to tell you that SWIFT is on the show today. So hey, please join me and welcome the beautiful one. SWIFT, good morning.
Good morning. Guess how you sound? Do you know when Jesus was being crucified?
Hmm?
We don't know who was the bad guy, whether it's the person that did, because at the right hand side, am I for heaven or are we going the other way?
Don't worry, Doc is around.
Doc will definitely be deciding. I like your tie. You look brilliant today.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, world. They say be not confirmed to this one, but be renewed by the renewing of your mind. And we are here to do amazing stuff today. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, yes, we're not going anywhere. Doc is also joining us, the Oracle himself. He will join us via Zoom. So hey, don't go anywhere. We'll have a full show for you today on SBL. So remember this. Go on all social media platforms and join us. Like what we do, follow us, and most importantly, share. It's SOUQ business. SOUQ business. Now, SOUQ News Television is what we are all about. So just go there and join, like, share, and let's continue this conversation. Now, straight to our first story of the day. Nigerian stock market surpasses 200,000 points as the rally continues. The Nigerian exchange surged on Monday, that was yesterday, March 16th, at the close of markets 2026. All share index jumped well above what it was on Friday. Now, 3,067.6 points. That is what the jump looked like. Now, we are also closing to 201,000. That's the point we did get yesterday, but that's all good. Just hold on, we will get. Now, this represents a 1.55% increase from what we had on Friday, which was 198,407.3 at the start of the week, pushing the index above 200,000 points threshold for the first time ever. The rally was driven by strong buying interest, with Bar Cement leading the gainers. Now, market activity also strengthened, with total volume rising to 948.1 million shares from 590.8 million in the previous season, reflecting renewed investor confidence and increased participation across key sectors. That is one major one. We're having issues with numbers initially, but hey, we did sort that out. Yesterday, we were still looking at 198. Having talked about 196 as a rallying point, everybody was looking at, we're not going to go below this, and yesterday, we did hit 200. We did prophesy that here. Just a prophet, we just talked about that. But this is where we are. Now, Swift.
Yes.
Let's get to you. A lot of people are saying that the rate at which the market is moving, is it really moving in consonance with value of the companies?
Okay.
Or people are just too excited and getting into the market?
I would say it's moving with value, but before we say it's moving with value, we have to give, kudos to who kudos is due. Last week was the celebration of women, the Women's Day. And statistics shows that every week that we celebrate women, the next week the stock market always does exceptionally well, especially in Nigeria. So please, to all the hardworking women out there, I know Doctor is listening, don't cringe, sir. Fight my statistics. So I think women have done this for us. For the market, like you said, there were certain people that have been looking strong. So BUA Group has always been looking strong. UAC Foods has always been part of your top 5 gainers. Corn oil had a 20.9%. That was last week. And so if you look at the shares or the stocks that are doing well, not the ones that are declining, there are stocks that have been top 10 in the past 6 to 8 months. There are just 1 or 2 that have come in. So it's telling you that the market has been growing steadily. Of course, we can't take it away from the economic global issue that is happening, the political wars that are happening, or the wars that are happening between Ukraine, US. It has been able to boost up the Naira. So the value of the Naira is looking very strong. We are looking at more investor confidence. We are looking at foreign investors looking at the Nigerian market as attractive because we are a major player when it comes to crude. And so people are looking at investing in Nigeria. So it's a good one for us. Of course, there were some downsides. There were some people who took a hit. But of course, it's not as bad. For the 200, the fact that we surpassed that mark, a lot of people felt we were not going to do it. I was one of the people that stood as a doubting Thomas, that can we get there? Can we get there? But people like you have proven me wrong. People like Doctor has also proven me wrong, that the market volatility is always like that. It goes up and it comes down. Because, last week I was crying that the way the market is declining, are you sure there is hope that people should just stay with mutual funds? But you were of the opinion that, no, it's still going to. And here we are. So a win for you too. But, of course, a win for the women.
Okay, to every beautiful lady, mother, sister out there, a win for you. We can't argue that because we'll never win. Yes, Doc, we're coming to you. We're coming back to you on this. We see a market that just keeps growing. The rate at which the market is growing right now, people are beginning to ask questions, just like I did come at SWIFT with that. Are we seeing more of people pushing in and getting to the market because of the growth? Or are we seeing the value of the companies themselves matching what we are seeing on the floor of the exchange?
Currently, real estate today.
Thank you, Chose. Good morning, Swift. Congratulations that you people have cashed out on the occasion of Mother's Day. I hope that in July, you people will have to retaliate by allowing men to cash out too, so that we can go to the market. And I do hope that it's good to also know that those monies are going into investment. Congratulations. But that said, I think, yes, I've been very optimistic that the Nigerian Stock Exchange has been doing well. Leadership has been good. The regulatory frameworks are fine and working. And of course, more importantly is the fact that investors' confidence in the economy is being renewed, irrespective of the shortcomings and the challenges which, of course, the nation currently faces. So it's a kudos. Yes, of course, it's a small win, but we need to celebrate it. There's no doubt that Nigerian Stock Exchange is still small in value if you compare to the South Africa Johannesburg Stock Exchange that controls about 60% of the African stock market. I think we can do a lot better because if you look at the valuation today, I think between 36 to 49 billion, that's what our market is doing, compared to South Africa, $1 trillion stock market. So I think there is hope. What we need to do is continue to let people see the beautiful thing that happens in the market. I have always said this year, there's no human being who is substantial today who will not do that via the market, stock market or real estate. Those are the real high place where values are located.
So it's a good one that, of course, consistently we've seen this growth happen, which means, of course, it's not a fluke. It means that the fundamentals are right, things are being done well, and people are beginning to believe in us. And I was just looking at the roundtable yesterday evening of the finance minister with the UK counterpart talking about how much the reform in Nigeria has built confidence of investor in what we're doing. That, of course, is leadership. So when we have good leadership, then, of course, all things will fall right. We may not be there yet, but like they said, the journey of 2,000 miles begins with a step, and I think this is a step in the right direction.
Okay, a step in the right direction. I won't let you go on this because we need to talk about this. If we look at what's happening at the exchange right now, we see that the high cap stocks keep going higher. If we look at the percentage, they are growing way, way faster than the low cap stocks that are even readily available, that are more affordable to the everyday person that wants to come to the market. What can we do, or what policies, or what can company owners do, company owners, majorly those of the low cap stocks, to see that, hey, people also see them as, they've not done badly, but let's also see more investment in them and more people getting into them. Unlike what we are seeing with the high cap stocks. Yes, let's give an example. Seplat, in thousands, but people are buying more of Seplat. Aradel, the same thing in thousands, people are buying more of them. There's some of the FCMGs, people are still buying more of them, compared to some of the insurance companies that you can get for some less than 10 naira. What can be done to let people see that, hey, there are possibilities here too?
Yeah, Chooks, people don't invest for charity. People invest for value. If investment is charity, then of course your argument can be fine. You see, when people are making investment decisions, there are a few things that they need to take into account. The first is to look at the history of the profitability of the company, look at their books, and see that they are doing well. Secondly, they also look at the history of dividend payment. Do these people pay dividends? And if they pay out, is this substantial? And then, of course, people also look at the leadership of the company. Are these business-minded individual that drives that organization? All these factors have to be put into account before you invest in a stock. When you find a stock where, of course, the companies involved are not as innovative as they should be, and maybe leadership is also not as transparent as it should be, it will be difficult for you to expect that people will go put money in there. Because when people put money in stock, they want to multiply it. They don't want to remain stagnant. And what that means is that we also must find a way, those companies must find a way to restructure properly so that people can see profitability in prospects. In that case, you will see investment come in. This fast food brand that we talked about the other day that has done so well in recent times, what changed? They have moved away from just providing fast food to people and went to invest in the food supply chain. And that has created a whole lot of leverage for that particular brand, and a lot of people are embracing it. And at a certain point, that stock was stagnant, but now we can see its growth prospects. So investments are driven by market fundamentals, and I think that those who run companies must also put this into account, that people can see that you have a prospect to make profit, you are not wasteful in terms of management, and that, of course, if you put money in, at the end of the year, they are sure of dividend, and the value of this stock itself, the capital, appreciates. And if that's not happening, it will be difficult for people to put money in there.
Okay, difficult for people to put money in there.
Yeah,
can you throw more light on some of these small cap companies that we are looking forward to growing? How can they open up their books more?
Because I even wanted to pitch in that, funny enough, a lot of penny stocks are doing well. So, for example, there's this Premier Paints. Although they are small stock, they rose from 10. Yes, they rose from 10 naira between the beginning of the year, and as of last week, entering Monday, they were selling for 32, about 19 naira 40 kobo. That's almost 20 naira. So that's a 32%.
Almost 200%.
Good. So you see, even as you are, like Doctor is talking as a big man, let's be real. There are some people that their money value can never get to the Boa Cements. Boa Cements are above 200 naira per share. For you to be able to calculate that money and buy those stocks, you must be a big boy. And so for the smaller people, there are still these penny stocks that people that have 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 going to.
5,000
Yes, 5,000. I'm just saying this, the younger boys, so compared to Doctor and his colleagues and you. So these penny stocks are still doing well. They are still pushing. We see insurance company pushing. This period, insurance is selling very well because a lot of people want to be insured, especially oil and gas companies talking about the war. So everybody's being insured. So it all has to do with advertisement. Someone on CNN was saying that, look, the news affects direct sale. So if you can push out your brand properly, we are seeing what Weber Bank is doing. We are seeing what a lot of other funny banks that we felt, were these people really pushing? And they've enlisted on the stock market, and they're doing fantastically well. So it's just about branding. I think a lot of Nigerian business owners, manufacturing, consumer goods, they need to put out their stock there and start to brand. So, for example, this is our sister that over last year made millions from food. I've forgotten the name of this place that is just beside us here. Imagine if she enlisted on the stock market. Because of the previous engagement that everybody knows that, look, everybody is buying food. She's making over 500,000% of profit. People would be more inclined to invest in such stocks. So PR is the next way to go for a lot of small penny stocks. That's
PR,
what I'm
about their books. Don't you think their governance people want to really see who is on that board?
So their books, their governance are already strong. Like I gave you an instance of Premier Paints. Premier Paints is already strong. But if you put it more adverts out there, you're telling everybody that, look, we are not just a regular paint company. We are doing A, B, C, Z. We are giving back. These are our CSR projects. People will be more inclined to invest. And you're showing people that, look, we have been rising steadily. We have been here. We are not declining. This is a safe stock to buy. And people will be more interested in investing. My take.
Okay, that's good. Talking about interest. Doc, wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say that I don't think today it's actually about whether you have plenty of money to buy. You talked about Seplat. I think it's just a little over 9,000 in that stock. So which means if you have 90,000, you can buy some units. It's as simple as that. What that means is that you see that it's not about what's the size you are making. It's also to see what's the return that is going to come. You will be shocked that at the end of the year, where Seplat is paying out a dividend in 0.5 dollars, these other smaller companies may not be able to afford a 50 kobo dividend. And so people are looking at what is going to come to me at the end of the year. That's the point I'm making. And in a world today where information superhighway is filled with a lot of data, it is very easy for people to make market calculations. Like I said to my friend, today I don't even bother my head to look at what financial analysts are saying. But I want just to follow the train of the big boys. When I see where they are going, I go there because I know they will not sink. And if they are not going to sink, me too, I will not sink. So I think that for me is the sentiment in terms of people investing. Yes, of course, you can put money in little stock. They can grow over time. There's no harm in that. If you cannot afford the big one, then, of course, start from the small house. Probably someday you can grow up and be able to play like the big boys.
Okay. God bless you. Doctor has further portrayed my point, because how do you follow the big boys if you are not in the corridor of the big boys? Moving on.
Okay. This is marriage made in heaven. Yes, we now talk about moving on. Okay, monetary policy. Now, Naira is still holding steady, and market is eyeing a key resistance level, and the Naira has said, okay, no, we're not going down. Nigerian Naira maintains a cautious optimistic outlook this week, following a period of steady appreciation and a notable shift in monetary policy by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Market participants are closely monitoring the Naira-dollar pair as it trades within a tight, very tight range, with analysts watching for signals that could determine the currency's next major direction. Improved liquidity and policy adjustments have helped stabilize recent volatility. Now, technical indicators place immediate resistance between 1,395 Naira per dollar and 1,400 Naira per dollar. Levels traders consider could be critical. Now, a breakout above this range could signal further strengthening, while failure to breach it may trigger renewed pressure on the currency. We saw good movement in the last 2-3 months. Then 2 Saturdays came, and we saw the Naira shake a bit. People were a bit scared, I must say. People in the market were asking direct questions. No, not again. But hey, we thank God in the last 2-3 days, we saw a little bit of stability, and we didn't see the official rate going above 1,004.
Yes.
Do we see the central bank still holding strong to its policies, or do we see the private sector pushing more in being able to also join the federal government in producing these scarce effects?
Okay, so like you said, right now, without being biased, we know that the effects, especially for people traveling, there was an analyst who was saying that Dubai's airport used to be one of the busiest airports in the world because that's the center of tourism. And in the next 1 month, or at least in the last 3 weeks to 1 month, we have seen a decline because for almost a week, there were no flights going out of Dubai. Right now, most of the flights are private jets leaving, not coming in. So for example, Nigerians who were planning to travel for vacation, business meetings, which will be FX, it's as highly reduced. Now, the Naira, people are still looking at the Naira being strong because Nigeria is in good relationships with 5 of the strongest trading countries in the world, or with the strongest economies. We have a good relationship with the United States, we're in good relationships with China, we're in good relationship with Japan and India. Now, we have a good thing with India that we don't need to source for FX again. So if you are looking at traveling being reduced, that means people that are sourcing for FX that go for holidays, and the big boys, let's call it what it is, the politicians who give the sugar babies all the time to just go and lodge, and that will be turning into billions. And these monies would now be kept in the country. So the sorting for FX for traveling and holidaying is slightly reduced. That's one. Of course, talking about the market value, we are looking at the fact that the oil is doing very well. We are now one of the most beautiful brides that everybody is sorting after.
Nationally?
Yes, nationally and internationally too.
Yeah, but not personally.
Well, we are still one of the highest, third highest importers of petroleum products to US. So it means that with the US benchmark right now, from 64 Naira that we expected to 100 plus for crude oil, it means that our Naira is going to do very, very well. In fact, people are expecting the US dollar to drop to almost 800, which was forecasted by Otedola and the Dangotes. Yes. Now, some arguments are saying, look, this won't take more than a week. But some school of thought are saying, when the Ukraine and Russian war started, people thought it was going to be a week. Look at how long it has lasted for. And look at how it has affected the economy. Venezuela is affected. So we are still standing strong. And our relationship with everybody is doing well. Right now, the things in the market are going up. Cocoa is being sorted after, which we produce majorly. Oil is being sorted after. And gas is being sorted after. So if the Nigerian economy puts this where we expect that the dollar will stand strong, CBN should keep putting in the policies. I mean, the Naira should stand strong against the dollar, and CBN should keep putting up its policies. We are expectant.
Okay. CBN should keep putting up its policies. Doc, I wanted to come to you on this, but no. I'll come to you on this, on the next one. And it has to do with tax administration. Now, the African Development Bank, they have approved, I call it a dash money, they've approved 5.52 million grant to assist us in, boosting our tax system. The African Development Bank has approved a 5.52 million grant to strengthen tax administration and improve domestic revenue mobilization in Nigeria and other West African countries. Now, the bank disclosed this in a statement announcing the signing of the grant agreement with the West African Tax Administration Forum, which will coordinate implementation across participating nations in the region. Now, the initiative is expected to modernize tax systems, enhance governance frameworks, and improve revenue collection efficiency, helping governments generate more domestic resources to fund development priorities and reduce reliance on external borrowing. Okay. My happiness when I saw this was that, okay, good and fine, it is a grant. But at the long run, is several West African countries. I asked the question, okay, how much is coming to our tax office? So, Doc, we see us transitioning into being able to really implement the tax bill, which started in January. Now we see African Development Bank, good and fine, it's an African thing, coming to the aid of African countries and saying, okay, good and fine, let's put money down and, like we say, teach, help, assist, educate, and let organizations, government agencies be able to do their job well. Are we seeing something that will see profit in the long run?
Well, it's just wisdom to pray for your debtor not to die. You need to get that very straight. So if you have a debtor who is owing you money, it's not your wish that the debtor dies, so you must do everything within your reach and power to ensure that it keeps kicking so that the hope of recovery can be very high. I think from that perspective, so whether it's African Development Bank or other Bretton Woods institutions that also have their resource in our hand must do all that is within their power to ensure that we are liquid enough. But that said, I think if we also look at the way things are with our nation in terms of revenue inflow, there's a huge gap. If you look at our tax to GDP or population ratio, you discover that we are the worst globally, and that had to be corrected in a way so that, of course, government can have access to resource to provide the much needed development that the state does require. If we do the tax system properly and adequately, that there are no leakages, Nigeria economy will become stronger, it will become bigger, it will become richer. Usually, I say to people, especially when I have opportunity to speak to people in conferences and workshops, that the emphasis over the past decades has been on cake sharing. And successive governments in their turn have put emphasis on how to share the national cake. And of course, the population was increasing and the size of the cake was not getting bigger, which of course put social pressure on our society. But thanks to God, we have, for the first time since independence, a government in place who is not just thinking about cake sharing, but also thinking about building a bigger cake so that everybody can be well taken care of. I think this is sustained. Also hoping that the inclusion now of the tax master, Matthew Yedele, into the government cabinet will bring in this needed tax administration that will be as efficient, combining force with the chairman of NRS. So we are hoping that professionals are managing fiscal dimensions, of course, which will bring in about a lot of growth, which of course was the mandate and the charge that Mr. President gave to him about 2 days ago when he was being sworn in, that he has the responsibility to grow Nigeria economy from where it is to where he wants it to be. So I am trusting that things will get better. People will begin to pay tax, which is just one side of the coin. And the government be faithful enough to use this tax responsibly for the welfare and well-being of the citizens of the state. And that serves a motivation for people to continue to pay tax.
Okay, motivation for people to continue to pay tax. But now, let's look at it from a different angle. Now, just like you said, if you're owing somebody, the person wants you to live long, make more money to be able to pay back. We see that, yes, we are shareholders and also debtors to African Development Bank. But now they want this system, this new tax system to work, which is being 100% driven by personnel working for government. Personnel within ministries, within agencies and departments. And one thing we know for sure is that these are people that this is a new terrain to them, not like what they used to do before. So training, personnel development is of utmost importance. Should we be seeing a government that will focus on that majorly? Because we've seen that being driven majorly by the private sector. We see organizations like the ADS, the Douglas Development Institute, and the other institute in Cairo. Should we start seeing government focus on let's get our people up to date and get them equipped in getting this particular reform and bill across and make sure people follow through, knowing fully well that those that are going to do the job are well equipped to do this job?
Yeah, I think so. The chairman of the Nigerian Revenue Service is a very progressive-minded person, and he believes in capacity building and training. And over the years, we've also had opportunity to interact with staff of that particular ministry. And they are different really from the core staff of other federal ministries or agencies. They have a lot of professional hands who are driving the entire process. So capacity building, continuous learning is something that people will not undermine. We're seeing on the one hand, the African Development Bank supporting with resources. And you don't forget that some few weeks back, we had an agreement also with the French tax authorities to be able to exchange studies such that we will be as efficient in the new tax regime. So I think all these things are being considered. Capacities are already being built to see how this can be done. A lot still will need to be done to see that we can close all the leakages. But I'm as hopeful that once these laws have been assented to, the onus is on the tax manager to go ahead and ensure that every loophole is taken care of, all gaps are taken away, so that the more revenue that is required, we can actually harvest it. Because if our tax net is broadened, we have the potential of being able to implement a budget that is bigger than what we currently have. As we speak, Nigerian budget is so small that it cannot even catalyze development. So we need more revenue, and that is why this repeal of the very obnoxious and archaic tax law has been taken off the road, so we can have new rules driven by technology to see how we can make more resources available for government to provide the needed services, security, and infrastructural development for the society.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. Talking about making more resources available for the government. When we return from the break, we will talk about how do we make more resources available for the farmer and reduce the cost of food inflation in Nigeria. Don't go anywhere. Remember, just go to all social media platforms, and look for SOUQ News Television. Follow us, like us, comment, drop your comments, let's talk. But most importantly, share. Share, don't stop sharing. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Think like that because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to watch, always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Boggables, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
Africa is on the rise, and at the forefront of its growth is a sector as old as civilization itself, agriculture. Once marked by subsistence farming and challenges with food security, agriculture in Africa is now experiencing a powerful transformation. From the fertile lands of Nigeria to the tea fields of Kenya, agriculture is driving economic growth and lifting millions out of poverty. African governments and internal investors are taking notice, pouring in resources to support smallholder farmers and expand sustainable farming practices. Digital innovation is playing a major role in this transformation. Mobile apps provide farmers with crucial information on weather, market prices, and crop management. These digital tools are empowering farmers to make informed decisions, increase their yield, and get fair prices for their produce. Now I know when it rains, I can plan my planting better, and I know where to sell my crops for a good price. It's really changing our lives. We are committed to investing in agriculture as a pillar of our economy. Our goal is to make farming not only viable, but a source of wealth and stability for our people. African countries are also scaling up for exports, especially in high-demand crops like coffee, cocoa, and cashew. By focusing on quality, Africa is capturing a larger share of global markets. But the transformation goes beyond exports. Across Africa, new farming techniques and policies are helping to meet domestic demand and reduce reliance on food imports, contributing to food security across the continent. Women are also a key part of Africa's agricultural revolution. They make up a significant portion of the agricultural workforce, and initiatives are empowering women farmers with resources and training to enhance productivity. From subsistence to sustainability, the future of agriculture in Africa is bright. With innovation, investment, and resilient communities, Africa is sowing the seeds of prosperity.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content, and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape. Welcome back. This is SBL SOUQ Business Landscape. Now let's go straight to our next story, and it has to do with food inflation. This one thing we just wanted to go away. Now, for those that are still wondering, Nigeria food inflation rate rose to 12.12% year-on-year in February. That was last month, 2026. Now, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, pushing the indicator back into the double-digit territory after a brief decline in January. Data from the Consumer Price Index report showed an increase from 8.89% in January to 12.12% in February, representing a 3.23% point rise. Now, the rebound follows a historic drop in to single digits in January, which had marked the first such reading in 128 months. Now, analysts say the renewed increase signaled persistent pressure on food prices, raising concern about affordability and cost of living as households continue to grapple with fluctuating inflation trends across essential commodities. To be precise, the dinner table is getting leaner. Okay.
Yes.
Dear Swift.
Yes, boss.
As the woman in the house, we just keep celebrating Women's Day non-stop.
Thank you.
How can we start dealing with this?
So the challenge of dealing with this inflation, especially when it comes to agriculture, is the farmers are excited about it because it means more income to them. So while the households are crying, the farmers are celebrating that more income. But there's something the government can do.
Are they really celebrating?
Yes, because more income means more money to their pockets. Any which way you're going to look at it, it's more money to their pockets. So they are the ones at either the farmers or the people that are buying majorly from the farmers, those two people. But it's a bit of increase for them. So the more inflation goes up, the farmers celebrate, the buyers celebrate. The people that are the end users are the people at home, you and I, who go to the markets, who find out yam was 3,000 this week, and next week we have to buy at 3,500 or 4,000. We are the people who are going to complain. I noticed that during this taxation, during this increase in petroleum price, I don't know about other states, but in Lagos State, the Lagos State government was able to have a communication with the transportation people. They didn't over-increase the pricing.
In Lagos State?
Yes. So let me explain.
Do you know how much it is to go to
wait
Ajah
now?
now?
Hold on now.
Okay.
Normally, when transportation increases like that, 100 naira, instead of 1.5, it goes to 2.5. I remember how it rose. It was a 100 naira pricing for Ajah. Ajah used to be 700 naira for Mobalinde, and suddenly it became 1.3. And it was an overnight thing. And once you ask, and in fact, it was a 97 naira increase, and it stayed there. It has refused to come down. So when there was an increase and there was turbulence, I was a little afraid. And then 1.6, if you go solid, you still see 1.5, 1.2. Yes, I know there's 2,000 now.
2005.
No, I've not seen 2,000. At least I passed through Balende and they were shouting 2,000, 2,000. It has gone to 2,000. Well, my route in Oshodi has increased from 700 to 800. So that's my route. Now, another good thing why the increase has not started is because BRT has not increased their prices. I've noticed the trajectory in Lagos. Once BRT increases their prices, other bus people say, oh, for BRT to increase.
BRT has not increased what?
They have not increased yet.
They have?
They have.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, as of my last market watch, they hadn't increased. So I was very confident that since they had not increased, that's why it was staying steady. Because I still saw Oshodi for 500 naira yesterday evening, and I was stunned. But I had to look at the bus very well in case they wanted to take me on a chance. But coming back to the market inflation prices, basically, good or bad, it encourages local food production. Because when you look at inflation rates, it means that if you're importing at a higher price. So people will now start to sort these things locally, from wine to drinks to food. So it's, as much as inflation is not a plus, sometimes it is good for the local industry. That's the second one. Now, another critical thing about this is at this point we are looking at government. What can government do about it? This is the time that people need grants, more grants when it comes to agriculture. So like I always say, to me, instead of government sharing money for the less vulnerable in society, put it into agricultural grants, put it into feeding grants. Let's have a rice bank, a food bank that people can go and get food stuff at a cheaper price. There was a time the Lagos State government was doing it. Unfortunately, there was a stampede, and so if they decide to start it again, then they know where they had issues to increase the security, ensure that, look, your teller point is very, very different from your collection point, and make sure that there's no crowd around the collection point. But at this point in time, with the inflation watch, the federal and the state government need to do something for the citizens. If not, the common man on the street is going to start to cry. And right about now, I heard that NUC has already started to scream about the fact that the minimum wage needs to be increased. If the minimum wage is increased, that will be further inflation, which for now, the federal government needs to sort these blockages so that they do not need to increase minimum wage. If food prices do not... That's what I'm saying. No, you know, they don't. So, unfortunately, the last minimum wage, how many states are paying it? How many states can afford? How many people are earning that minimum wage? But NUC doesn't understand sometimes, or they understand, but they just insist. Because like oil and gas, immediately, most people in oil and gas, immediately that happens, the minimum wage is implemented. People who work with federal civil services, most times that happens, the minimum wage is implemented to them. The people who suffer and bear the brunt are you and I, who work in private sectors, the private teachers out there, who their salaries are still 40,000 naira, even though minimum wage has hit 70-something and 60-something since. And so it boils down to the federal government to understand that in Nigeria right now, the private companies employ over 60% of the population. So since they employ 60% of the population, minimum wage many times, can these private people handle it? They can't. So what they need to do is they need to block and they need to make life a little more comfortable. Once there's feeding, transportation is low, energy sources are low, then we can move forward. But we hope that this administration will be able to do something so the inflation rate doesn't shake too many people.
Okay. Why you have decided to dive this corner? Doc, please come. We need to bring you back to this dinner table. It's causing a whole lot of issues. We have seen a case where sometime last 2 weeks, we did report that we could buy yam from Benue for as low as 500 naira for a medium tuber. But by the time that same product, that same yam gets to Lagos, it's selling for 3,000, 3,004 for that same particular yam that was bought in Benue. Same thing happens to rice, same thing happens to beans. Almost all produce. Now, from point of farm down to movement to the metropolitan cities, we see this astronomical increase in price. And it's still boiling down to what is coming to the table at the end of the day. The salary of the person that is buying has not increased while that increment is happening. And most times, the farmer is not the one making the money. What can we do to break down this middleman or this middle logistics issue to reduce the cost of food at the end point for the buyer?
Yeah, there's so much that can be done. And I don't think, honestly, it's the middleman issue. And I think the problem that we have as a country is the issue of logistics. Roads are not good. We don't have effective rail system for transportation of farm produce from the rural area to the urban center, where, of course, we have to use the road. It's a long, tortuous road that the truck that are supposed to take about 8 hours to travel, for example, from Niger or Benue to Lagos, can spend 24 hours on the road. And then, of course, it's either they are using petrol or diesel. The prices are not friendly. And the more long hours you drive, the more diesel that you consume. So the cost of transportation, of bringing this food out of the farm to the rural area, to the urban centers, is what is crazily expensive. And that is the challenge, coupled with the risk that is also involved. Don't forget that there are a lot of ungoverned spaces, as they call it, along our roads, where some people are collecting tolls that are unofficial. So these are all issues that you have to factor into those prices. I remember my early, younger days, we used to go to Badagry to go get a palm kernel and then to Idiroko. And when you are bringing these things out of Idiroko, you know how many checkpoints you have to stop to settle people along the road. until you get to the factory. All these things are added to the price of buying. And I think it is these things that are on the space that, of course, even while Oyedele was campaigning for the new tax regime, was that to see a way of eliminating these illegal tax collections that are done by force, and so that we can have a good pricing regime. So those are the problems that befall us at the moment. So it's not just the middleman trying to make people who are in the city, because they also have risk of not selling in time. Because if the yams stay for too long, chances are that they are going to spoil and the rest of it. So they want to sell as quickly as possible. But when they look at the cost of logistics to get this yam to come to the city and the high risk that is involved, it's only a matter of trying to recover investment that you see that is actually accounting for this high cost of produce that comes from the farm. There's so much we can do. We have to connect our farms to the urban cities with good transportation system. Let the rail lines be working and effective, and that will resolve a lot of issues that happen along the way, and the food prices can become better, especially when they come to the urban center. But if you remember last month even, when MBS brought out the statistics, you discover that food was cheaper in some urban centers than in Benue State in terms of inflation and in Kogi. So that also showed to you that these people were now relying, because people talk about they're not able to produce what they have to eat and have to rely on other sources, and the prices of food items also go up in those areas. But by and large, I think for me, what the major challenge is logistics. Take, for example, you want to move a good from Niger or Kebbi to Lagos. You know that instead of paying a truck for 1 day, you are likely to pay for 3 days or 4 days, because the man is going to be on the road and is going to take the money from your hand. Some of all these things, they can be taken out if we develop our infrastructure system and make them as efficient as they are in other climes.
Okay, making them as efficient as they are in other climes. Let's go to those particular other climes. We get to import a lot of rice into this country. We import more than 60-70% of the sugar we use in this country. But we have arable lands. We have government projects that really were tailored to cater for these specific products. Sugarcane, rice to be specific, Niger State and co. Why are we still having issues with producing this?
Well, we have said this time without number. The problem with agriculture also is issue that has to do with yield. When you take for rice, for example, the quantum of yield that you get from rice from outside far exceed what you can get locally. Even cow milk. So what is there is that you are spending more money producing so small compared to people with better technology, and they produce more yield given the same resource. So that is a big problem, and that's fundamental. But like I've also argued elsewhere, the land tenure system in Nigeria is a very big problem. Those lands that you are seeing belong to some people. Though we say, state government hold land in trust from the landowners, for the landowners. The landowners, to a very large extent, determine how such lands will be used. So I think that is also one of the fundamental issues. Because if you have to lease a land to do a farm, and then you have to go hire tractors, you have to buy fertilizer, you have to employ hands that will be on the farm, and many of them may not be as faithful as you will want to see, you will discover that the cost of production will go beyond rooftop. And those teething problems we are talking about here, you don't find them elsewhere. And I think that's where the discouragement is actually coming from. Also putting into account the fact that some people may labor for a whole year, which is from January to December, and all they can get from their farm may not be up to ₦1 million. It's also so discouraging for people to get into that venture. So when you put ₦1 million as your total earning from a farm for a year, you would have had people who work in there, or your children who are supporting you. If you factor it into minimum wage, you will discover that the farmer is not even earning up to 10,000 in a month. So these are issues that affect why, of course, we are not embracing agriculture as we should. So I think there's a need for more incentive where farmers can produce higher yield in a small portion of land, and then they get value for what they are doing. That will create the necessary incentive for people to go to farm to produce food that we can eat.
Thank you very much, Doc. We are not also forgetting the security issues, and that is a national one, and we hope and pray we keep fighting and keep winning. Yet now, from farm, from agriculture, from food inflation, let's get to housing. Let's get to what's happening in Lekki Phase 1. They are making another history. Now, Lekki Phase 1 is leading the short-let market with a huge differential. Lekki Phase 1 generated 93.78 billion in short-let revenue in 2025, making it the top-performing market in Lagos. Now, according to Lagos Short-Let Market Report of 2025, the report published by Edala Development tracked 6,398 listings across Lagos and highlighted strong demand for short-term rental properties in prime locations across the city. It noted that the Lekki Phase 1 figures were derived from over 1,000 listings monitored during the year, underscoring the area's dominance in Lagos' growing short-let market, and it appealed to both local and international visitors. Lekki Phase 1. Do you think there is any other location in Lagos that will surpass what's happening around there?
No, there's a reason why it's Lekki Phase 1, because it's central. And most of the places you are going to have fun are between Lekki Phase 1, VI, and down to Aja. So it's very critical. You want to go to the beach, that's the route, Aja, you are in Lekki Phase 1. Also, there's this, when they mean Lekki Phase 1, it's not just Lekki Phase 1, they mean Lekki Phase 1, Marwa, and all those places, Agungi down. Now, why? First, there's insecurity. People coming from outside the country, they want to stay where it's safe. There's also this notion, PR again, that tells you that the island is better than the mainland. And so there's a way the islanders move, the island girls talk. It's easier for you if you're coming into the country to get certain things. Hire a car, be with the people that you feel are cream de la cream, have meetings on the island compared to going to the mainland. The mainland beehive of activity is supposed to be Magodo, but the massive mad traffic that is hitting Magodo nowadays makes it a little more difficult. So the island has become a little more careful. Between Agungi, Lekki Phase 1, Chevron, those places, the traffic is there, but it's not as crazy as the traffic. Once you get out of there, you can easily move. If you're going to Ikorodu from the island, you can just go, drop the car, take a boat, hit Ikorodu, and come back. Get BRT, get trains. They are all around that side. So that's where the island has. That's one. And the second thing about the island, why A, B, and B are trending is because of, in quotes, these are our amazing boys. It's for security. People have realized that if you want to do business, you want to have meetings, you are less likely to be busted in by EFCC or whatever when you are in an Airbnb. So it's easier there. If you are carrying anybody, for example, somebody you don't want to come to your house, it's easier to have a meeting there. And the houses come fully equipped. You can cook, you can stay, somebody comes to clean, there's 24 hours electricity, which you may not experience in your house. The AC is running, the water is running, there's internet service for most of them, minus what you are paying. So it's way... You're
paying for everything?
Yes, I know. But
even some of them that you don't get the service, we still pay for it.
In life, many times when you think about your comfortability, it is critical. I know artists who rent Airbnbs to record. And why are they renting? Because when you're in your own house or your own studio, the lights may go off, your landlord may come and bang on the door, somebody may decide to start screaming for no reason and is entering. But in those places, there's quiet, there's peace, everybody's just doing their thing in their own, and the fact that someone else is coming to clean up after you is always a plus. So the situation around that place, the groove, and at night from there, if you want to hit the clubs, you want to chill with the big boys, the gyms around there, the supermarkets around there, the kind of people you want to talk to, that atmosphere has been created to make it look like this is the place to be in. And so it's only normal that those prices are going to go up.
Okay, we see monies coming out from shortlets in Lekki Phase 1. We also want to see this translated.
We know doctor cannot relate.
Doc, just control delete.
Then also, I wanted to say something else. Now, also another reason why doctor wants to come for me.
Okay, Doc, let's have your 2 cents on this, please.
Yes, I was just going to commend the SWIFT, the activities of all the sugar mummy. We are seeing them pay off. And yes, it's working. It's also a sign that the economy is doing well.
Yes.
That people can actually afford some of all these things. And it's not a joke at all. Home away from home for some people. When you have economy that is good, you can see all these activities happen part-time. And I don't think it's just in Lekki alone. There's a lot also happening in the mainland, maybe because value has not been put to it. Many of even the hotel owners these days, they don't even allow for 2-night stays. So these are the kind of things that you see happening, that people have resources and they are able to spend. Which of course promote tourism. And that's why we talk a lot about the dirty December. I think we should transition from dirty December now to move into all-season dirty in Lagos, because there's a lot that's happening, and people are making money and putting in their pocket, and they are also spending.
Okay, we want to see that multiplication happen across.
Before we run through, not just Lagos, so there's a reason why Lagos is higher. I wanted to say, in other places, so for example, if you live in the east, you live in Edo, you are more likely, if you come into the country or you come from Lagos or wherever, you're more likely to stay at home because there's this family unity. But in Lagos, people do not want to stay in their family houses. People want to stay in those places and get the families to come and visit them. In Lagos, people don't want to get married in their father's house. People go to hotels to get married, which is strange. Because I was coming from Benin, the pride is getting married in your father and your mother's house, and everybody say, "Oh, now ask me this." And so these are the factors that will keep driving this Airbnbs, will keep driving the prices higher. And people like Doctor can relate. You see, he said there's money in the economy. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
And to continue, we're here. Doctor, we're watching you.
Culture is still playing a role. Now we're going to. Now let's get to the side that is making the nation to smile, but making the citizens to frown. And it has to do with global oil market. Now, oil prices have risen thanks to Iran, thanks to US, thanks to Israel. Oil prices extended gains on Monday as the US-Israeli war against Iran entered its 3rd week, intensifying concerns over global supply disruptions and keeping energy markets under sustained pressure. The escalation has heightened risk in the critical oil infrastructure and prolonged tensions around the Strait of Hormuz, a vital corridor through which a significant share of the world's crude shipments pass. Analysts warn that any further disruption could tighten supply conditions. Benchmarks, including Brent crude and US crude, have surged sharply in recent weeks, reflecting a market fear of a prolonged conflict and potential strategies, with traders closely monitoring geopolitical development for direction. As of yesterday, we saw oil price go above 100. A big 100. That is just for Brent. Then if you talk about our sweet Bonny Light, that is up there. And also the new inclusion that came from us, that is also up there. Now, on the flip side, let's look at it. The federal government is going to make monies off this conflict. Yes, definitely. We want to see accountability, we want to see transparency. But now, on the other side of it, it's telling on us because as we speak right now, it's an open market. which means the end user, the PMS, the kerosene, if people still use kerosene, the diesel has gone off the roof. And it's going to affect every single thing. Dear Doc, I'm coming for you on this. How can we see a government at least cushion what is happening right now? Because we are all feeling it. But we didn't throw any bomb.
Well, it's pretty difficult. Like the old adage says, if two elephants are fighting, the grass must have to bear the brunt. And I think that is the unfortunate situation that the world has found itself at the moment. Two elephants are fighting, and of course, the grass is indeed suffering. Governments are making money. We don't know how much of this money it is that is coming, because don't forget, we are still not able to do even up to 2 million barrels per day. And whatever money that we are going to make out of days may not even be enough to go around everybody in Nigeria. But that said, it's also know that it's not just Nigeria alone. We also have a neighboring country that seems landlocked, who also don't have the kind of blessings that we have. You can imagine if those who are sleeping inside are catching this heavy cold. Think of those who are outside. They must be freezing to death. So I think it's a big challenge, a global issue, and that's why we're praying and hoping that this crisis ends in good time. Because there's no amount of money that you are going to share that will be able to cushion the effect of this hardship, especially for an import-dependent economy like us. The Strait of Hormuz is still blocked to some people, although Iran is saying that they have opened it to some countries, which are their friends and allies. But to what extent we can receive supply of goods and services from the east and the west is a big challenge. And therefore, the little that people have in stock, definitely their price will have to climb up, obeying the markets, the unseen hand of the market forces. So it's a big problem for the state. I don't know what we can do. We can't build roads overnight. We cannot build rails overnight, which of course would have helped to reduce some of this pressure. We don't have food reserve because we are scrambling for even to feed ourselves daily. We don't have even crude reserve, not let alone petrol reserve. So all these are the things that make the situation really very worse for some of us who live in the third world. But I think that this should be a lesson teacher for our government and our national leaders, that they need to begin to invest for the rainy day cannot be overemphasized. And we must do all that is within our power to ensure that we have resources enough so that in a time of shocks like this, we are able to cushion the effect on the common man. That is my way of looking at it. I just think that, I just pray and hope that this situation go down a little bit. Definitely and obviously, it will affect us, whichever way.
Okay, it's affecting us already.
Yes.
It's hitting us already. So if you're not aware, just enter any public transport, you will feel it.
It's a global hit.
Let's talk about
because look, many times when things happen, we see Nigerians say, oh, Nigeria happened to them, or this and that. Let's call it what it is. This is like COVID. This is like a recession. This is like an issue that we did not do anything. Nigeria, we were just in our own lane, sitting down in our house, and suddenly the fire started. And so, and this fire, good or bad, has its positive sides and its negative sides. The positive sides is the government is going to make more money. There's going to be excess crude. Unfortunately, the fear...
No excess crude,
excess revenue, I mean, not excess crude. Unfortunately, the fear of this is, even if this Tinubu administration sets up a fund where money is being saved, like what Obasanjo did, the next president, Jonathan, when he was under pressure from the other governors, they said, let's share the excess crude fund. And they insisted, and the excess crude fund was shared. And like Doctor said, nothing was done. Infrastructure was not fantastic. There was no road networks. New schools were not. No, I'm just saying. Because some people have started again with the campaign like, look, Tinubu's administration, they should put this excess crude fund somewhere else. And there's another school of thought that says, look, as every penny is coming in, let's build more roads, let's build more flyovers, let's do more things. I'm just saying.
Doc brought up some major issues.
Yes.
We don't have reserve for crude. We don't have reserve for finished product.
Yes.
We don't have, as we speak right now, we can't point and say, that is our national rice mill or grain reserve. From this particular issue that we are facing right now, that should be telling us that, hey, we need to start putting up this. There are some countries as we speak right now, their pump price is still the same thing because they have put these things in place.
Those are Saudi Arabia.
They have products that can last them for 2, 3, 4 months in conflict issues, which we are all facing right now.
Because they have a national refinery. We know the role NNPC has played. Last week, I was listening to a publication that said that when NNPC...
Are you giving us a way forward?
No, I'm saying, when NNPC changed their name to NNPCL, the money they used was more than the Nigerian budget for that year.
Okay,
let's not even go there, but let's talk about this. Back to, I'm just saying. And that's supposed to be, if NNPC was working, like somebody was saying, we really need to thank Dangote and thank the initiative of the government. No, we are saying...
The video is not listed.
Yeah, of course. Now, that Dangote refinery, that's the only reason why fuel prices have not skyrocketed. If not, it was supposed to, people were estimating that because it's selling about a $1 plus abroad, that means it's supposed to have hit almost 2,000 naira by now. But thank God that we have our own refinery, so at least there's a refinery.
Dangote has a refinery.
Yes, no, we have stakeholders for Nigeria. It has not gone public. We are Nigeria. He said the refinery is for us. So let me stand by his words for us, our refinery, Daddy Dangote. Of course, at this point in time, it comes back to the table of NNPC. Okay. What NNPCL has done and how they have shortchanged us, and the importance of federal government giving more allocations to private-owned refineries. The importance of, like Priya used to say, states coming together, 2, 3 states coming together to have their own state-owned refineries, even if it's just to supply their zones and regions. If all of this was happening, they would have been able to see if state-owned refineries would have been able to get crude at almost cost price. Because when you look at the fact of even exporting the crude, for example, Dangote, even what NNPCL is giving him, the 5 cargoes, he still needs to pay the middlemen. He still needs to pay the people that are going to take it. So when you calculate all the pricing, it's almost as expensive as importing, unfortunately. What are we going to do with the funds? Like you said, let's not save. Let's not say we want to have an excess crude fund account and keep the money there that another president will come in the next 8 years and decide to share again. Let us use them for capital projects, rice mill, cement companies, heat up a refinery, things that we know that can keep producing money for us. That's the way to go, because anything keeping funds aside in Nigeria, we have seen what funds aside have done, unfortunately.
Okay. That's your take.
Yes.
It's all good.
What is...
My take is that tomorrow will be better. Yes, let's look at what's happening away from the words, and still possibilities are always in the horizon. The UAE firm, they are making commitment of $200 million in Nigeria in defense technology. Al Mirate Investment LCC has committed up to $200 million to develop defense technology, satellite systems, and advanced manufacturing capability in Nigeria. The firm, also known as Al Mirate Capital, announced the investment after signing a strategic memorandum of understanding with Nigos International Investment Limited to drive the initiative forward. The planned investment is expected to strengthen Nigeria's technological capacity, boost local manufacturing, and support innovation in defense and space-related sectors, while creating opportunities for skill development and industrial growth. Now, when this particular story broke, I said, okay, good and fine. This is one sector where we don't get to see a lot of stories or news coming out from, apart from the Nigerian, the military defense manufacturing company, Deacon. But right now, we're seeing private investments from other countries coming into the defense sector. production and manufacturing. Yet we have issues when it comes to security in the land. But this is a good story.
It is. It's a plus. It's a plus to Nigeria. First of all, I want to say thank you. I was about to say shout out to UAE, but I can't do that. But thank you to them to want to invest. My prayer. And
you know why I'm smiling?
Yeah, now.
The last time you were on this table, you broke a table on UAE.
Well, we are happy they have decided to invest. We also know that the investment in technology is intentional because at the end of the day, whatever they are investing, directly or indirectly, it's going to go back to them. You are looking at technology. Once we advance in technology, it means booking more tickets, more investments, which right now, everything in the world, yes, I can see my light flicking. Everything in the world about now, it's a global village. Okay. So if you are buying something from here, it's just a click on the phone, and you are going straight off international. So, good or bad, these investments, they are still going to get a percentage of it. Nigeria is the new cash cow. Africa is the new cash cow. We are the new set of people that we know that everybody that is coming in and investing in the country is going to be benefiting highly. In fact, people are looking at 100% profit every time you invest in Nigeria. AI is the next thing. Technology is the next thing. And so it's critical. We have young, very brilliant and intelligent young men who they need this sort of investment. So I'm excited about the investment. It's good, it's nice, and it's a welcome one for us. The only problem is let's the monies go to the right.
Hello, this
Swift.
I want to say on this at this point in time, I want to say thank you very much for your
submission. At this junction, like a friend of mine.
This junction alone. This junction is not working. Thank you very much for your submission, and we are grateful. But this is a private investment, and it's going to private quarters. So we also know that they have done their due diligence, and they know that this is going to work. To everyone that has been part of SBL today, I want to say thank you. You've done us noble, and you've done great. We are very grateful. Know this and know peace. Nigeria belongs to all of us. So it's our responsibility to grow it. Some people say, why don't we get to hear a lot of the kind of information that we get to hear out there? No. We believe in the greatness of this country. And we know that positivities will align our minds and our minds to do great. Are we having issues? Yes. But we will definitely surmount them if we put our heart and our hands where we want to work on. So to everybody out there, let's keep our positivities up. Let's keep praying. And most importantly, let's keep working, knowing fully well that things will work out. Thank you very much to everyone in the MCR. Thank you to those behind the cameras. Thank you to those at the editing bay. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ. Thank you very much, Doctor, for being part of SBL today. We'll do this again tomorrow. Have yourself a very beautiful day. Swift?
Have yourself a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Housing infrastructure as a driver of economic growth. In virtually every nation, the discourse on economic growth often revolves around output, foreign investment, technology, and human capital development. Yet, one element that remains underexplored but profoundly fundamental is housing infrastructure. Housing is more than shelter. It is an economic commodity, a social stabilizer, and a catalyst for development. From job creation to stimulating demand in allied industries, and from serving as collateral for wealth creation to enabling urban renewal, housing infrastructure stands at the heart of sustainable economic advancement. At the core of modern economies, housing represents both a consumption good and an investment asset. For households, it is often the most valuable property they own. For governments, housing development is a visible marker of social responsibility, while for economies, it serves as a growth engine with multiplier effects across sectors. According to Bayo Olaoye, veteran journalist with SOUQ News Television, well-planned housing infrastructure is not just about erecting buildings. When integrated with urban planning, it prevents slum expansion, enhances livability, and boosts productivity. World Bank estimates show that the real estate and construction sector contributes between 7% and 14% of global GDP, depending on the region. In advanced economies, such as United States, housing-related activities, construction, real estate, mortgage finance, home improvement, and property services are major drivers of employment and wealth creation. In emerging economies like Nigeria, housing contributes about 3.1% of GDP, though with vast untapped potential. Its influence cuts across financial markets, labor absorption, raw material demand, and energy consumption patterns. One of the clearest pathways through which housing drives growth is job creation. Development requires diverse skilled and unskilled labor, from architects and engineers to masons, electricians, and artisans. The construction phase alone is labor-intensive and generates immediate employment. Beyond that, housing stimulates growth in allied sectors such as cement, steel, timber, and glass. Industries producing furniture, interior decor, and home appliances thrive as household spending increases, while financial institutions expand their mortgage and insurance portfolios. The International Labour Organization, ILO, estimates that each housing unit constructed generates between 5 and 7 jobs, depending on project complexity. In countries grappling with high youth unemployment, this represents a powerful avenue for labor absorption and poverty reduction. Furthermore, housing facilitates wealth accumulation and capital formation. Unlike consumer goods that depreciate, housing retains or increases in value. For many households, home ownership is the foundation of financial security and upward mobility. Housing assets also serve as collateral for credit, driving entrepreneurship and industrial growth. However, in many developing nations, underdeveloped housing finance systems limit credit access, stifling broader economic potential. Expanding housing infrastructure can therefore deepen financial systems, democratize wealth, and strengthen the foundation for inclusive growth. As the United Nations projects that nearly 70% of the global population will live in urban areas by 2050, nations like Nigeria must treat housing as a strategic tool for urban renewal and sustainable development. Cities with adequate housing attract investment, foster innovation, and enhance livability, while poor housing conditions breed overcrowding, insecurity, and economic inefficiency. In essence, housing infrastructure is not merely about buildings, it's about building economies. I'm Moyosore Adibi, SOUQ News TV.
My name is Yinka Babalola.
My name is Ijoma Pelokoro.
My name is Joshua Hassan.
I am Rotarian Omosunde Lawson.
It's Ife Rita Ejeze. My friends call me Ife.
My name is Rotarian Dare.
I'm inviting you to keep watching SOUQ News. It's the right station to tune to.
I like SOUQ News. SOUQ News is good.
I want to charge you all to listen to SOUQ News, watch the news.
You can have unlimited news, first time.
Find SOUQ News. Be with SOUQ News. Never switch off. You are better for it. SOUQ News is the real thing.
Listen to their coverage and you'll be glad you did.
Turn to your YouTube, turn to your Instagram, turn to all your digital channels and look for SOUQ News.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Please, guys, keep watching
SOUQ News.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
In the heart of Africa's growing hospitality landscape, where service and professionalism go hand in hand. The Hotel Managers Conference Africa 2025 unfolded in grand style. Held on the 28th and 29th of June at the Lagos Continental Hotel, the two-day gathering welcomed top hospitality professionals, experts, students, and stakeholders from across the continent. Hosted by Sunday Olubenga Omotayo, the conference was a celebration of growth, excellence, and the power of local talent.
Welcome to Lagos. Welcome to Africa. Welcome to the future of hospitality. In this room is the strong brilliance of Africa's hospitality industry. Professionals who have turned challenges into success, created unforgettable guest experiences, and driven measurable growth. You are not here by chance. You are here because you recognize that the hospitality landscape is evolving faster than ever. What worked 5 years ago may be obsolete today, but those in this room don't just keep up with change. You lead. Talk to someone, you lead. This is more than a conference. It's a movement. A movement to raise the standard of African hospitality and prove that we don't just follow global trends. We set there. Put your hands together and put yourself. So, be present. Don't be distracted. I've seen distractions already. Hard questions. The first professor of hotel management and tourism is here. Professor SOUQ walked up to him and said, I asked him hard questions. Dr. Belinda is here. He's a big name when it comes to hospitality in the world. He's a global player. Asks hard questions. Build connections. Make at least 10 friends, not hold on, not new friends, no different ones. They're in this room. They're in this room. Welcome to Hotel Managers Conference Africa 2025.
Adding to the event's impact was the presence of Femi Wash Limited, whose media subsidiary, SOUQ News Television, served as the official media partner, offering live coverage, red carpet interviews, and podcast sessions that amplified the voices and stories shaping the industry. One of the event's high points was a series of insightful keynote sessions that tackled key challenges and emerging trends in hotel management. Professor Wasiu Babalola, SVP Africa at Content Worldwide Hotels, Turkey, and Academia with Atiba University, Oyo State, Nigeria, shared a thought-provoking address. Ahmed Raza, District Director, Nigeria, Radisson Hotel Group, shared insight on hospitality in Africa, driving excellence through local talent, highlighting the importance of investing in indigenous professionals for long-term growth. Dr. Belinda Nwosu, FIH of Lagos Business School, also gave a powerful talk on the future of hospitality, integrating global standards to drive excellence. Other speakers included Dr. Michael Pinda, General Manager of JS Signature Hotel, and Dr. Iyaduni Badebo, Director of Sales and Marketing at Eco Hotels and Suites, who contributed to discussions on hospitality development across the continent.
It's a pleasure to be here. Every one of you in this room, you are a gift. Thank you for the work that you do. A round of applause for yourself. I was reflecting this morning, thinking about how long I've been in the industry. Since 1998. Some of you were not born. And this is just an honor to be here and to see how far this industry has come over the years, over the decades. I'm going to talk about the future of hospitality. The future is already here, like Brenda has told us. But what are we going to do on our own part to be part of that future? Global standards to deliver excellence. These global standards, we need to understand what they are and how they impact us as people and managers. So the first question I want to ask, and I want a response, if your hotel fails, who's to be fired first? And we had some very powerful insights that I want to share with you, because at the end of the day, yes, we want to be global, but we need to look within as well. What is it that needs to change? So some of these insights were here. There's 5 nuggets. One is leadership development. We're going to talk about that. Networks and sponsors. Global currency. Very, very important. Personal integrity. The fact that I put it forth doesn't mean it's not the most important. And finally, human flourishing. I will speak about that.
The event has been very good. It's growing every year. It's becoming dynamic, and the one place you have to come to every year to see what's going on, to network, and to help yourselves in your careers. We need to look at the future of our industry, and sustainability is important.
This event is, I would cap it as a storytelling of Nigerian hospitality. Started with various events in different parts of the country, and now it has now metamorphosed into Hotel Managers Conference Africa. So we're here to tell the story of the African hospitality sector. It's been an awesome experience. Sincerely, from yesterday we had the keynote speaker, Dr. Belinda from Lagos Business School, and she spoke quite a lot, and what actually still triggers in me is team strength and individual strength. And then today we now had Dr. Duni, who from Eco Hotel, Director of Sales and Marketing, and she spoke about storytelling.
My first time was last year, and this is my second time of attending HMC, and I can tell you for free, it's been very insightful. I want a situation whereby the hospitality industry will not be a dump of where anybody can just venture into. I want it to be a place where people that know their onions dive into the system.
Coming here today, I discovered that there is a whole lot to learn, and I've been learning. But what has really amazed me is the fact that Mr. Benga has been able to put this together and to ensure that there is no competition amongst hoteliers, but a synergy, and for people to work together to see that the hospitality business in Nigeria and in Africa is projected to the outside world.
Being here, I think it's a wonderful thing. Hopefully we can expand it to other African countries and just unitedly just bring Africa up.
We're not just here tonight.
Okay.
We are actually the head sponsor.
Nice.
So we didn't just come in first. It was a big one, so we just had to take the bull by the horn.
You want to do this again and again?
Yes, most definitely. HMC has come to stay already, and HMC is actually a big one. So, yeah, why not?
The event also marked a significant milestone for students of the Hotel Managers School, who received certificates after completing their training, symbolizing a new generation of skilled professionals ready to shape the industry.
event has been a very impactful event. It has been a very knowledgeable event. It has been an event that we need to even have it for a week long to carry on for 1 week, because it has been an event that a lot of things have been taught here, especially when I listened to the presentation of the keynote speaker, somebody like Dr. Belinda. Dr. Belinda talked so much about the hospitality, and she shed more light of some things that we have been neglecting without knowing that that's what has been. So this event has been so much impactful, and we listened to Dr. Panda speak, and it has been so much impactful, and all the speakers for this event, they have shared knowledge.
The 7th edition of Hotel Managers Conference has been remarkable. It's been educating, informative, and transformative. And it's just been a wow. And a big shout out to the organizer, the convener, Mr. Lukwenga Sunday Ombatayo, the veteran consultant.
This is my second time in this event, and I am very, very happy to be here, because here it's an avenue to express and get more experience, especially in the hospitality industry. We believe in growth, and I want to see the hospitality growing from this level to the next level.
So we are here to learn, to relearn, and to unlearn. We've been into hospitality for years, so we know things have been evolving, things have been changing, so we are here to learn, to relearn, and to unlearn.
Why we are both here is because hospitality is a very vast industry. So we see it as something that can improve us on what we are doing on our business, how to relate with people, then to network with the employers of labor, I mean the owners of the hotels, because we give them more work and we do businesses with them. And sincerely, at the conference, I've learned a lot. We've learned a lot, because when we got home, we always do briefing on it. So after the briefing, I saw so many things, and even up till now, we're still learning on it.
Okay, so this is my first time at the conference, and it was honestly a great experience. I am enthusiastic about the numbers. I'm happy about the number of people that want to actually get trained in hospitality, as it's a problem that's actually plaguing the industry. We need to invest more in training, and we need to ensure that people that can't even afford this training have the funding they need to access it.
Rounding off the conference were photo sessions and award presentations, recognizing exceptional individuals and organizations for their contributions to hospitality. The night concluded with a vibrant gala evening where guests, graduates, and industry leaders gathered to celebrate, connect, and look ahead to a more collaborative and innovative future for hospitality in Africa. Grace Komolafe, SOUQ News TV. As the world navigates constant change and competing voices, the call for purposeful leadership rings louder. The Scalable Leadership Summit 2025, hosted on the Leadership Channel Consulting platform, wasn't just another conference. It was a clarion call to leaders, seasoned and emerging, to abandon short-lived titles and build the kind of leadership that endures storms, spans generations, and reshapes nations. In a compelling convergence of Africa's top-level thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and organizational trailblazers, the summit issued a bold call for enduring, values-driven leadership. Under the theme, Lead Beyond Limits, Build What Lasts, the convener, Wale Adekola, emphasized that this event is not for applause. It was engineered for lasting impact.
We're talking about leaders who are going to represent leadership, who are going to become leadership ambassadors. And that is why we are launching Scalable Naija today. So Scalable Naija for us is not just a slogan. It's something that we want to see happening in every community in Nigeria, because today every participant is going to go home with three powerful frameworks. And for these frameworks, we have the first one is the Scalable Leadership Framework. The second one is ADAPT. ADAPT model is a sustainable change system that it can use to transform any system within the organization, of course, and across institutions. In Nigeria, of course, and across Africa. So these are proven and tested frameworks that we have studied, we have applied, for the past 10 years. And now we want to see all these frameworks applied in Nigerian institutions and, of course, organizations.
The summit delivered a rich blend of keynote insights and fire chat dialogues, featuring voices like Adeyemi Olayiwole, Niyi Adesanya, Tara Fela Durotoye, Honorable Adewumi Adeyemi, Professor Abraham Oshinobi, and Dr. Smith Bam, among others. The experience was further deepened by stirring spoken words, performances, and inspirational music, not merely to share leadership principles, but to ignite a deeper commitment to legacy-driven leadership in a world that is constantly evolving. Kicking off the summit was leadership strategist and keynote speaker Odeyemi Olayiwole, who emphasized the power of learning from experience. His message challenged attendees to go beyond information and seek transformation through mentorship, experience sharing, and tested wisdom.
The cheapest way to succeed in anything is to learn from someone who has succeeded in that thing. Not someone that knows about the thing alone, but someone who has been able to acquire the information and translate it to application and have results to show. And so that's why many years, in 1996, when I knew that my assignment was in the leadership space, one of the first questions I asked is, who is doing what I want to do? And who is the best at what I do? Every year I pick 3 case studies: a country, a company, and a corporate leader, every single year. And I dissect them to find out what is the secret, because success needs clues. The secret of men are in their stories. So one of the cheapest ways to succeed at anything is to find out who has succeeded at what I want to start.
Renowned beauty entrepreneur Tara Fela Durotoye, in her keynote session and during a fire chat with the convener, shared lessons from her leadership journey in building the House of Tara brand, from humble beginnings to a systemized enterprise. She spoke on navigating growth, people development, and succession planning.
What is it that I do that delivers the same outcome? What is it that makes my customers buy every time? Write it down, because we have now found a framework. Then you amplify and multiply that framework so that every time you meet a House of Tara person, there is something about them that reminds you of the person you met in Lekki. Why? Because we have created a culture. The policies are designed to protect you, not just the company. If you don't remember everything else that I said and you are an employee here, follow the policies and embrace them in your chest. Know them by heart. If anybody says anything, you just ask, what does the policy say?
From academia, Professor Oshinobi of Lagos Business School brought a compelling perspective on national transformation governance, innovation, and faith-based leadership.
The Nigerian paradox: we are rich in resources, yet poor in trust. Two of us, bursting with talent, yet starved of opportunity. A land of faith, yet a desert. Governance is a structural foundation that enables accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. But the crisis is this: 83% of Nigerians is strong public institutions. True or true? That is the basis of our problem in this country. Trust deficits.
The summit was not all talk. It was also artfully immersive, as Esosia Wilson rendered soul-lifting inspirational songs, creating moments of reflection between sessions. In an interview with SOUQ News TV, the convener emphasized the summit's depth, that it is a leadership movement committed to shaping a new breed of leaders. Participants shared their reflections, describing the summit as a catalytic experience that confronted, challenged, and compelled.
Leadership is not just a day thing, it's a daily thing. We want them to recognize 3 types of patterns. So we have encouraged them to study pattern. Number 1, pattern recognition. Number 2, pattern usage, how they can use the pattern that they're going to learn today. And number 3 is pattern creation. How can they create new patterns that they can apply in their own organization, something that is unique for them from the patterns they've recognized that they can use and also apply in their organization through wisdom.
Some people just wish to scale, but you need to be able to have a system that enables you to scale. So that's basically what I think the frameworks will do. And then from each of the speakers, so they are all coming from different, some are from the academia, the business world, which I believe that convergence will actually help to give a better knowledge and sensitization about what true scalability in business and in leadership basically is.
The second session talked about the need for leaders to appreciate their team members, and it was quite emotional when we saw 2 or 3 people shed tears of joy when they got messages from their team leaders. So for us as team leaders, we need to be very deliberate. And even the case study we did, Deep Sea, it talks about the need for us to be very deliberate. We need to know our team members. We need to know what's happening with them, and we need to leverage their strengths.
Everything rises and falls on leadership. If the leader gets it right, it trickles down to those at the middle level, at the lower level. So it's important to get it right from the root so that the fruits are good. I do a lot of case studies. So you study what has worked, what has not worked. And through my research, preparing for this summit, I discovered that we're talking about starting, scaling, and sustaining businesses. So let's study systems that have worked for up to 1,000 years and more. And I found out that they are driven around community, which is people. Everything should be about people. Listen to them, love them, then you can lead them more effectively. And when people's hearts are touched, they work better with their hands, with their head, and with their feet.
Because I work with people, I understand how powerful people can be, and the biggest asset any organization has is not infrastructure, it's its people. And if you understand that your people are your assets, you will invest in your people. But if you don't understand it, if you don't share that philosophy, you're going to abuse your people, you're going to misuse your people. So for me, it's something I've been living for 20 years, and so it's just natural.
You need to love the people you want to lead by having what we call the emotional intelligence, social intelligence. Both go hand in hand, and you need them for leadership. And lastly, for leadership is also about listening. For you to influence one, you need to listen to your environment in order to act accordingly.
We have looked at how to scale our leadership potential, and also sustain it. It's not enough to just start, but we will start, we will scale, and then we'll sustain it. It's something that should be a legacy, something that should live beyond us. Right now, we are talking about impact, the impact that the structures and the systems that we are putting in place will have on our society, on our community. So leadership is beyond just us. It's about impact. It's about sustainability.
and it's about the value that we are creating for our society.
To a large extent, I try to tell people that you can be anything you want to be. Because you've been placed here to lead, you've been placed here to be at the forefront. And for you to be at the forefront, that means you need to understand what leadership means. And that's the message I pass out. I see myself being able to influence the world with my music and also show people that they have the ability to believe they can be anything they want to be.
My workers are waiting patiently to see me coming because I have a lot to impact on them about the personal growth, the business growth, and everything as well. Everybody needs this, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You don't need to miss out this kind of program. You need to connect. No matter the money you spend here, it's worth it.
With resounding voices across academia, enterprise, ministry, and the creative arts, the message was unified. Leadership that scales must be intentional, people-focused, and purpose-driven. Grace Komolafe, SOUQ News TV.
Hello, Lagos. Make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass joke. Person go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
They use fake alert, they warriors.
Okay, so Mona listen, if you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbefi. They don't walk that road where they warrior for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development with the work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Oyemike, aka Ogbefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM. We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job.
Well, Supporters Club had been there for 66 years when it was founded officially, but those who funded it were just doing it for the fun. We just come to the field, drum, sing and go. Nobody gave them any recognition. But I joined them in the year 1977. Well, I paid 2 naira to join. And how did I join? It was because of an incident that happened at the National Stadium. The Shooting Stars of Ibadan and the Bendel Insurance of Benin were playing the semi-final of the FA competition that year. And I had to go to enter the stadium. I paid 4 naira to watch the game. But while entering the stadium, the whole place was filled. And when I got inside, there was no place for me to sit down. So many of us were standing. Out there, people outside the gate of the stadium, there were more than the people right inside. So as at a point in time, while standing, some people just took me off ground and threw me into the crowd. And I started rolling until I landed on the culvert, concrete. Concrete slab. Before I knew it, over 50 people were on my top. And I could no longer breathe. So to me that day, it appeared I was going to die. But through the grace of God, I was able to wriggle out myself of that position. And the man directly up on top of me had to leave, because what I did was by biting him, and I had to struggle to go under the concrete slab. And I was right there for the first half of the game, 45 minutes. I was right there under the concrete slab. I couldn't watch the game. It was the breeze that was coming from the outer part of the stadium that saved the situation. After the first half, you know, people will get up to go to the toilets, to go and buy drinks and meet their friends. I had the opportunity of coming out, and a good Samaritan gave me a small place to sit. Even at that, I was very unconscious. I was not comfortable. But the game ended. It was a drawn game. When the game ended, everybody left the stadium. But because I wasn't very comfortable, I had to wait in the stadium for like an hour and a half before I left. So when I left and I got home, 9 p.m. network news, breaking news. 32 people died in the stadium that day. And that, the thought came to me. I probably could have been one of them. But I thank God. That was what informed my decision to say, I will not go to the stadium again until I have the best way to go into the stadium without being killed, maimed, or injured. And I decided to move with those people, and I joined them. But then we were just doing it. Maybe 20 of us, 15, 30 of us, we meet under the trees of the National Stadium, and we go home. And since that period, immediately I became a member, I introduced what they call flag bearing. When from 1977 to 1990, every Nigerian team that came out of the tunnel or goes out there outside Nigeria to play, you will see the Nigerian green, white, green flag being carried by one person. It's me. I did that flag bearing for 13 whole years. Whenever the team is played, I will be there with them, whether it's the Super Eagles, the under 20, the under 23, the Falcons, and the rest, all our national teams. Even our club sides going out to play Continental. When you see the green, white, green of Nigeria, I used to be the one carrying that flag. So I was with them, and I rose within the ranks from being an assistant secretary to becoming the national secretary and also the chairman of the disciplinary panel of the Nigerian Football Supporters Club. And by 1990, I was voted to be the chairman. That was when the thoughts of registering the club came. So when you hear that the Nigerian Football Supporters Club founder officially, because of its registration, I did the registration. Registering the club, I moved it from Lagos to Ibadan, Oyo State. I'm an Ibadan man. Charity begins at home, they say. So I went to Ibadan. From Ibadan, I moved to Bauchi. I moved to Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, all the states of the Federation. By 1992, I went to Côte d'Ivoire, in Abidjan precisely, to launch the Supporters Club. I went there physically, bringing the Nigerians together, those living in Abidjan, I formed the supporters club and launched it officially. I left that place. I went to Ghana. I launched it in Ghana. Leaving Ghana, I went to Gambia. I went to Burkina Faso. I went to Mali. I went to Republic of Benin. I went to Togo. I went to all the countries of Africa, putting the supporters club in place in those countries. By 1995, I moved to the United States of America. I launched the supporters club at the Giant Sports Stadium in New Jersey in 1995. After that, I went to France in 1997 to launch the supporters club in France in 1997 because we were already thinking of going to France to play in the World Cup. And if the Super Eagles will not have enough supporters there, what will happen to them? Don't forget that I led the supporters club to the United States of America for the very first time we played in the World Cup in 1994. I was at the Copa America in 1995. That was when I had the opportunity of launching the supporters club in America. In 1996, I led the supporters club to Atlanta in 96. And the winning of the trophy, the gold in football event, made possible by the supporters club, support of the supporters club. Because when you listen, when that match, you remember that we played a match with Brazil in the preliminary stage, and we lost 1-0. But we had the opportunity again to meet them during the semi-final. And during the semi-final, Brazil had given us 3 goals. We were trailing 1-3 at the interval. And when the second half came up, we were given a penalty, I think 25 minutes to the end of the game. One of our players, I don't want to mention the name, but he knows, he lost that penalty kick. That was when God told me, sing this song. It's a miracle working God. It's a miracle working God. He's the Alpha and Omega. He's a miracle working God. Of course, my members chorused. Indeed, miracle came. We scored the second goal. And the then Minister of Sports, Chief Jim Nwobodo, came to our stand and said, Ladipo, I heard you guys singing, it's a miracle working God. It's like God is going to make a miracle to happen today. I said, yes. And we continued. I changed the song. I have a Father who never fails. I have a Father who never fails. I have a Father who never fails. Who never fail, who never fail, forevermore. Amen. Jesus never fail. Amen. Jesus never fail. Amen. Jesus never fail. Jesus never fail. Jesus never fail. Forevermore. We scored the third goal. Then another song came. Boya chukuna gaza. Boya chukuna gaza mere. Messiah yobiuma. Boya chukuna gaza. The match ended and there was to be the extra time. And that time it was a sudden death rule. Immediately I sang that song, my people chorused. And the ball was coming to Kanu Nwakwo. He was backing the goalkeeper. Chested the ball, raised it up, turned around and tapped it to the net. And that was the 4 goals the Nigerian team scored against Brazil. And they started crying. And I decided to form another song. When Nigeria beat Brazil, when Nigeria beat Brazil, oh, Bebeto start to cry. When Nigeria beat Brazil, why Bebeto? Because they pulled him out. They were thinking they were reserving him because they thought they would meet Argentina in the final. Unknowingly to them, that they will be beaten, they don't know. So I did that song, and we sailed into the final, meeting Argentina in the final. And that again happened. Argentina was leading us 2-1, but we came from 1-2 to beat them 3-2. Yeah, to answer your question, I did that to tell you what the supporters club is to the team. And what this man felt by registering the club is that I have that belief. And it is general. Everybody must have it. That this is Nigeria, it's our country. We have to do something by giving it a positive image, whether in Nigeria or outside. You do know that all of us cannot be Mr. President of Nigeria. All of us cannot be governors. And not all of us will be members of the National Assembly. But all of us as Nigerians have special roles to play in giving our country a befitting and positive image. That is the reason why this man has been following football supportership all the time to date. Well, I want to tell you, like I said earlier on, the grace of God has been the secret. The other secret is that my members, I get them reoriented to believe in my vision. All of them supports what I was doing. They all love this country. They want to contribute their own to the good name of Nigeria. That has been the secret. And don't forget, any member of the supporters club should be referred to as a patron by excellence, because they are not paid. They are not given any allowance. They use their time, their money, even at the risk of their lives, to support the cause of Nigeria through supportership. Well, majorly, it is funding. The challenges is funding, because if you have to support the team, yes, they are playing in Lagos, you may not spend much money. But when they are playing in Enugu, they are playing in Uyo, they are playing in Abuja, you need money, no matter how. But come to think of you traveling with 100, 200, 300, 600 supporters outside Nigeria. They will not go by road. They will go by air. It's a lot of money that we need in running the supporters club. So our main challenges has been that of funding. But I can assure you that God has been good to us. We have had some philanthropists, some organizations who have come to assist us by way of supporting us, giving us a lot of money. And if you will not mind, I will have to put it on record that the very first company that supported Supporters Club was Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola did it for 2 years. They could no longer do it. Then, for 1 year, MTN did it. They could no longer sustain it. But later, we got Globacom. Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr. has been the brain, the backbone, the sponsor, and the financier of the Supporters Club for several years, doling out millions from 50 to 60 to 100 million of naira, and even in dollars. So that has been the way, that has been how we have been able to surmount it. We have some philanthropists. We have Taiwo Afolabi, who has always supported us whenever we are going out. I remember Alhaji Aliko Dangote in 1996. He supported us. And some other Nigerians too. Esther Ajayi, when we were going to Russia 2018, I went to this woman and I told her our problems. The second day, she was able to give us 20 million. I went to meet the then governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Governor Ambody. He gave me 10 million. The club, not me per se, he gave the club. And then when we were going to Brazil in 2014, that was the very first time any government supported us. We went to Brazil. Before going, I visited the then president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. After decorating him as our patron, he pronounced a 50 million naira grant for us to go to Brazil. Actually, we were going to request from him a whole plane to take us there because we were going for a national assignment. Supporters Club is a selfless service. But the president gave us 50 million. I mean, Goodluck Jonathan. But we ended up spending 189 million. The difference of that was raised by me going to Dr. Mike Adenuga, Taiwo Afolabi, Esther Ajayi, Ambode, and the rest. That's how we've been running the club. We've been running the club, meeting people who lost the game of football, who lost Nigeria, and they have been helping us. Well, very, very unfortunate. It's a story I hate to be talking about all the time because I've said many things about it more than 100 times. Supporters Club had been there for several years. And Dr. Rafiu Ladipo was the national chairman for just 10 years, from 1990 to 2000. I left that position in 2000. And then somebody else became the national chairman. And that was Alhaji Waidi Anderile Yusuf, who was the chairman for 8 good years. After him, there was Otumba Olatunde Bashorun. He was there for 4 years. And there came a time when one Mr. Vincent Okumagba acted in that capacity for 3.5 years. And there was one little mistake, misunderstanding, because people will not want to wait for their time. And all I told them is, please, go through an election. Anybody who would not want to go through an election is not supposed to be on that chair of the national chairman. That's what came up. And the then NFF believed that there could be 20 arms of supporters clubs in Nigeria. It could even run to 100 units. But it's unhealthy. You cannot have a situation where your team is playing right on the field and you have different corners where you have the Nigerian supporters scattered all over the field, singing in different voices. It's not good. But look, I've been able to manage it because God has told me that supporters must not die. Supporters Club will not die. I have to be patient to let them see reasons why the Supporters Club should go and support the teams with unity. As a unit, go and support the team. But if you have funded your own, maybe you have registered your own, you have your own office, you can stay in your office. Manage your office the way you want to manage it. But when it becomes a national assignment, You are going out to represent Nigeria. All of us as supporters must come together to support Nigeria as a group, supporting one team. Not when you have some people in angle 90, some people in angle 180, some people in angle 360, some people in angle 60, supporting one team. It does not all go well. There's nothing you are going to achieve from this. I remember when we were in Russia, and my members have gone in. I normally wait for all of them to go in before I will finally go in. So when I was going in as the last person, I entered the stadium, and I saw them, some people up there, I saw some people on the left, I saw some people on the right. And when I was going to meet the band boys, some of their security men came to me, in Russia, and asked me where I was going. I said I was going to meet my people. They said I should bring their ticket, my ticket. And when they saw the ticket, no, you can't go there, go there. That place is not yours. Your seat is downstairs there. How do I coordinate the activities of my members? This is what we've been telling them. Supporters Club must be united. They must come together, sing together, cheer the team together, and let us have a befitting result. When the referee or the match officials see a group of people, even if you are 200 or 300, converging in one special place together, in your uniforms, in your green and white, and you are singing, they know you have come to support your team. So it takes them every reason to want to do the game better. Well, when you are not there, in a capacity crowd of 90,000, we had 5 supporters here, 2 there, 7 there. When the Argentines were about 87,000 in the field, singing for their team. So I believe that the Supporters Club must be together. I've been able to manage it now, up to now. The national chairman of the Supporters Club as we speak is Reverend Samuel Ikpeya. He coordinates the activities of the Supporters Club in Nigeria. While worldwide, I'm the President General because we have Supporters Club in all the other countries of the world. And when we come together, there must be one person. There must be the head. We have the president of the Supporters Club in Cote d'Ivoire. We have the chairman of the Supporters Club in UK. In all Francophone countries, the head of the Supporters Club is called president. In Anglophone countries, the head of Supporters Club is addressed as Mr. Chairman. So the President General is not just what we just came out with. It's because there's a need for it. That's why the President General worldwide comes up. Well, I have told you a lot of people don't want to wait for their time. And when you don't wait for your time, what do you lose? You lose much. There was going to be an election. And I called all of them, go and pick your nomination papers for the election. But some of them will not want to because they want appointments. And I don't believe in appointments because we have a constitution in the Supporters Club that says everybody and anybody who wants to be an officer must contest for election. I insisted that there must be an election. Some people will not want an election because they know, probably they believe they cannot win. They decided to say, oh, let's go our way because we don't want election. That's it. Before now, up to about 8 years, 10 years ago, the Super Eagles were really super. But in the last 8 years, we have not been there. We have not been doing well. Don't forget that in 1994, Nigeria's team, the Super Eagles, were judged to be the 5th best in the world. What is our ranking now? 37th in the world. Even in Africa, what is our ranking? So the Eagles of the last 8, 9 years ago, no, they have not done well at all. I want anybody to tell me, what did we win in the last 8-9 years? Don't forget that in 1980, we won the Cup of Nations right here at the National Stadium. In 1994, we were in Tunisia. We won it. In 2013, we were in South Africa. We won the Cup of Nations. In 1996, we won the Atlanta Olympics. Since then, what can we point to that we have won? So the Eagles of the last 8-9 years, no. They did their best, but their best was not good enough for Nigeria. And that's why we didn't win nothing. But I want to believe that the present crop of Eagles being put together now, going for the Cup of Nations, we want to write their names in gold. And if that is so, it means they have to put in their best to see that going to Côte d'Ivoire 2024 will not just be going there to make a number. We're going there to give a very good account of ourselves. Who says it is not possible for Nigeria to win the Cup of Nations again? It is possible. But it takes a determined group of people as players who wants to write their names in gold to do that. When you are rating the coach, a coach is as good as his last match. Passero was employed, he was given a target, and the NFF has the power to either sack or renew his contract. I think according to them, maybe he has performed according to what they want. But for me, as a Nigerian, I want Passero to go to Côte d'Ivoire and show us that he is serious and show us that the Super Eagles can still fly and make us get minimally play in the semi-final of the Cup of Nations. Anything short of that, no. Well, I want to believe that our Nigerian coaches are good. There have been 2 or 3 foreign coaches that have done well. Westhoff, Bonfrejo, and this which doctor, what's his name again? I'll remember his name. This guy qualified us to play in the World Cup with a match to go. The witch doctor. Well, the witch coach, we call him, we remember it's now it will come back. So, since then, there's no foreign coach that has done better. I was one of the people that went to London to recruit this man I'm talking about. When we recruited him, he came to Nigeria, and he made us to qualify for the World Cup with a match still to go. Philippe Trouzet. I was there in England where we interviewed him. Well, since then, it has been one coach coming to take our money, not giving a very good account of himself. But the Nigerian coaches, let's also praise some of them. Some of them. The late Shuaibu Amadu qualified us to play in the World Cup, even though he did not take us there. The late Stephen Keshi also made us to win the Cup of Nations of 2013 in South Africa. So if that happens, who says the Nigerian coaches are not good? Some Nigerian coaches have proved themselves, but they still need to do more. But these 2 coaches